What's going on, everybody? We are back in here once again with another live stream. Shout out to you guys for being in here, being involved, and being active on this channel. Welcome, live gang, replay gang in the future, and of course, the Lurk Squad. Happy Money Day, aka Melanin Monday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. You all stayed safe. You all enjoyed it. And we're back. We're here to inform ourselves. Tomorrow, OB23 drops. So today, we will be checking out the balance overview. Balance overview for items and gods, of course. And then I also, depending on how long we go into this one, there was the other one I wanted to check out, the Monday one. The roadmap one right here. So maybe we'll find something in there. We'll see. All right, let me go ahead and check for any audio issues that may or may not be on my end. Mic check, mic check, mic check. And mic check, mic check. Sweet. Nothing here.
Nope.
All three platforms are running like a well-oiled machine. Excellent. All right, we can go ahead and get things started. Boom, full screen, man. There are some new anti-heal items. Anti-heal category is back. And apparently some buffs are going to happen. We'll see. Is Afro going to get more healing? Who knows? Let's jump into it right about now. Dodgy drops tomorrow too, man.
That's the wrong screen. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome into another Titan Talk.
Yo, they starting in school.
23 of Balance Notes review is on the table.
Okay, Pawn is here.
Going to be joining me and Kilgoon today to go
Kilgoon
through
and
those
Hindu.
two.
Yeah,
We in studio.
A little or something. Yeah.
This happened the other day and it's just not changed. We'll fix it eventually. But
Let's
welcome
go
in to another update show. Well, another Titan Talks, I should say. Kilgoon, anything to say first of all?
Quite a lengthy one.
I've not forgotten something we were supposed to go through at the start.
No, I think the
50
Do you
minutes.
want to talk about like the stuff that
the
we're
whole
doing
thing is
live
just-
right now before we get into the
the thing we talked about right before.
the two things we're talking about right before the show?
And then some Q&A probably at the end. Damn, you weren't lying. This is quite the freaking lengthy ass patch. Interesting. Good thing we're going over this today, man. Oh, they start. Oh, there's some new stuff going on here. All right. 50 minutes. That's about 40 minutes of patch. 45 probably tops. All right, not bad. Well, this is going to be dropping tomorrow, so I like to stay informed.
Yeah. So
Okay, so yeah.
So matchmaking stuff.
Matchmaking.
I went down a rabbit hole this week with Jordan, learning how to do some data query, and we found some things about matchmaking that were really interesting.
Huh?
Okay.
Improvements?
Actually, part of it also came from we went back and played some Smite 1 games recently, just because we wanted to like compare certain things. And one thing I noticed about Smite 1 was, even though the population's like a third, the matches popped faster for me, which seems wrong.
Okay.
So we went and looked at that, and we found that there's things that the matchmaker was doing to basically kind of restrict the types of matches it was making a bit aggressively at the start, which just kind of artificially inflated the queue times overall, without really actually helping the quality of the matches at all. So we tested over this last week and this week, really lightening those restrictions on the casual queue specifically.
Okay.
And just to say the results of that, because it'll just be interesting for people to know, we cut queue times by 30 to 40% on average, across the board on all the modes.
Oh! Oh, let's go! What about rank, though? What about rank? Is something like this coming for rank? I pray it does. I want it to.
And our matchmaking metric, which is like the metric of how close the match is and the outcome of the match matches what we expect, didn't change at all based off that.
Okay.
So if you still see things that are weird about the matchmaking, especially in casual games, let us know. The rules that we restricted kind of are around.
Okay.
The biggest one was probably we try to keep level differences away from each other.
Yeah.
So new players have a less likely chance of facing higher level players.
Makes sense.
That's still there.
Sure.
It's just not as extreme as it was.
Sure. But I also guess like newer players obviously when we talk about new play, sometimes people will have Smurfs and will be quite good, and they will have an MMR that does increase over time too.
Yeah.
So in theory, they could still get matched against them in those cases, I guess.
Yeah. And that's definitely something we can keep an eye on. But like the fact that we got 30 to 40% savings on queue time with no quality
crazy.
loss is like actually insane. So yeah, that's just been really nice to see.
That's amazing.
Also ranked.
Yeah.
We did find an issue with ranked separately because
Okay.
we after looking at the casual queues, we went and looked at ranked. Ranked doesn't have the same types of things to adjust because ranked has a much more complicated rule set around matchmaking there. But we did find a bug there that was causing, probably I'd say for the last 2 or 3 months, the matchmaker to not be as good. And we made a change there, and we are seeing that the change seems to be working and making better quality matches.
Ooh.
It's one of those things that will take time as people play to fix itself over time, the error that was introduced. So over the next 2 to 3 weeks, as people play more and more ranked, the matchmaking quality should go up, and we would expect it to like our metric goes from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
And ranked matching was like 0.725, which is not great. A 0.8 to 0.9 is like where we want to be. We expect it to go back up to that 0.8, 0.9.
Okay, cool. So improvements to queue times and improvements to
Yes.
matchmaking
Yes.
as well.
Oh my gosh. This is good. This is good. Finally, they did something about this freaking matchmaking thing. Because good dear Lord, sometimes these matches were just or it didn't really seem all that fair.
Nope.
Or even like the skill level from player to player within the whole server. It was just so drastic. Why am I playing with these people? I shouldn't be playing with these people.
Nope.
So I want to check this out, man. Curious. Hopefully my games improve now. We'll see. It's gonna take some time though. Although this is a good step forward.
Fantastic.
Yeah, ranked you probably won't feel yet because again, we have to the error kind of has to be fixed over time. But I would expect over the next 2 to 3 weeks that it gets pretty significantly better.
Awesome.
Okay.
And I just want to call out a community member for being awesome.
Yes.
A Devil Matt 666.
What a great name.
What a great name, but I'm going to call him out. On Reddit, made a post saying, I figured out the Sylvanas pull bug. And he did. He figured out what was causing Sylvanas mirror matches to cause pulls to sometime fail. It's a great post. It has a video explaining what happens and a little bit of a write-up. Exactly what we needed to reproduce it in-house and see what was going wrong. So we have a fix that is rolling out to servers later today. I don't know exactly when, so you're going to need to download something. And that will be fixed. Essentially, somehow the root was interfering with the pull.
Correct.
I'm not the programmer. I don't know.
The technical reason is the root applies the talent debuff tag. And that causes some issues with the root behaving properly because it thinks it's interacting as the talent version when it's not because of how it compares the tags. So that's actually the root cause of the problem.
I
didn't even know this was a thing.
This now as well is also because the feedback they gave us was so good in terms of what we really. It's so helpful if people can send us clips and things to really showcase it. And if you do come across exactly the reason, it makes it so much easier for the team to work on and trying to find a fix a lot quicker. So thank you.
Yep.
People are already like, give him diamonds. And I'm like, I'll reach out.
Yeah,
we'll see what we can do.
But yeah, I just want to say, like, if you ever are like,
Yeah, that seems like a giant accomplishment. Probably the guy has to have some experience in coding. He has to have some insight into how things work for games. And then much more so for Smite or Smite 2. If he really enjoys it. So, for me, it just went over my head. I didn't even know this was a thing. So shout out to you, man.
I understand why a bug is happening.
Yeah.
And you have a clip of it. And you're like, hey, this happens every time I do X. We can usually fix things really quickly if we understand what is causing it. But a lot of times it's like, sometimes this thing happens. And it's like, that sucks. We'll investigate it. But sometimes, like,
it takes a while.
Yeah, we can, Kabir can spend like all day on a thing trying different things to getting it to reproduce. And it just doesn't do it consistently. So then it's like hard to figure out how do we fix it. So if you ever find a root cause, please, just make a post and we'll definitely see it and we'll take a look. So thank you.
Always trying.
Also, bug report. We have a whole Slack thread.
Smite2.com/bugs.
Yes.
Smite.
Damn, nice. Or this guy has a lot of experience debugging. Those are my guesses out here. My guesses. Because his report was so detailed. Like they're saying, it was so detailed. Root cause was there. It was reproducible. They did it, and then they found it. They finally resolved it. So that's just my speculation towards that guy. About that guy.
We should get on with the stuff. We have a lot to talk about. I just wanted to call that out. So thank you.
Do want to mention real quick as well. We do have just started today.
Yule Fest, not Fist. Yule Fest. Heartful Findings submissions November 14th. That was on Friday to December 12th, almost a month. Voting happens December 13th through the 17th. I'm guessing that's us, or is that them? Prizes. First place gets 5,000 diamonds. Second, 2,000. Third, 1,000. And you can submit them at smiteprime.com, I presume. Oh, this is the, excuse me, the Afro skin. I love this skin. I love the artwork
competition for Yulefest, Artful Tidings. Shout outs to the art community.
Oh, Tidings, not Findings.
They're going to be hosting this on their website from now on.
Damn,
it's more of a community platform where people can submit their artwork, send in the opportunities, and the community votes on these. We will review these on a Late and Titan Talk.
Christmas skins from the community
is the target for this.
See how they turn out.
For those interested, I'll just give you a quick showcase of what the site looks like. So this is where you'll go.
Ooh, okay.
Submit your art. It's nice and easy. And just a couple of examples there. There you go.
Is that Hindu Man? Is that him? Oh, it is. Hindu Man with peppermint candy.
It's my amazing attempt just to showcase it works.
Why are we running?
Only in face and neck are pink. Are these gloves he's wearing? Maybe that's why. Pants.
The competition we've
already found
I wanted to win this one because, to be honest, getting diamonds these days is rough times for me.
There's the win.
So yeah, just thought I'd showcase that a little bit, and we're excited to be working with both Smite Prime and the art community. So make sure you check that out.
That's great.
Okay, back to where we're up to.
I'm looking forward to seeing all the art.
First of all, showcase what you want me to talk about real quick.
Yeah, we can showcase these couple things real quick, and then we can get into more balance.
Why you're loading? Because people are going to lose their minds. Yes,
ready.
Anchor got nerfed.
Anchor did get nerfed before OBS. Yeah. Before it's even released, it has had some changes, but we'll get to those.
Is that that new item?
One is this one.
So this is another new player UI feature that's going to be in this patch. This will not be on for.
Move closer.
It has some reset because.
Shoot!
It's okay.
I know.
But basically, like,
it does change.
If you are a new player, you will get this message. It is more so for ranged characters. People playing ranged characters do not understand that ranged attacks have a range limit.
Why am I not here?
And they...
Yeah, I mean, the line is right here. I don't know. I would deduce that this is my length. That's as far as my attacks can go. You can even add numbers, aka the ruler. So I don't know how new players are thinking that you can hit someone from essentially the fountain. I don't know. I'm being facetious. This is tough for me to understand.
Stand far away and they're like, range limit.
Why am I not here?
And they stand far away and they're like, what the F? I'm not hitting this person, but they sometimes don't even realize it. So for new players, there's something now that says like out of range, and it flashes a few times. And then if you still don't go in range, then it says move closer. This is in, I don't believe this is going to be turned on for existing players by default.
No, I think this might be helpful for me with like Mercury players or super close melee characters that have no freaking long reach.
Nope.
Because sometimes I'm right in front of them and then I'm still not hitting them. So I gotta be like basically morphing with them. This might help me with Merc. I might improve with him. Oh, goodness gracious. This is great. Not just for new players, but for existing players as well. I find this to be a lot more useful for melee ranged than ranged.
So
however, if it is, you can just go to your UI and turn it off.
That's the thing. It's in the settings. Yeah. It's UI HUD show out of range.
Okay.
So you can turn this off. This is not a thing that matters to anybody in this chat, but I just want to talk about it because
it matters to me. I think this matters to me a lot. Oh my gosh, because melee characters are they're iffy for me. It's that depth perception. Like, damn, I'm right here, but I'm like barely a hair out of range. So that might work.
It's another nice new player feature that should help people understand.
I like it.
You're close to doing it, but you're not doing it.
Yep.
And somebody's saying, I can't see the notification. Please make it bigger. It actually starts smaller. And as you continue to do it, it gets bigger.
I was testing just before we went live with this, just to make sure it was working in the platform I was on.
Yeah, so it's a just another little helpful new player thing, especially for range characters. Because range, like the number of times that we have watched, like if we conducted a playtest back in the day or whatever, and like there's somebody who's never played the game before, and they're like playing Neath in the tutorial, and they're like standing here, and the minions here, and they're like, click, click, click. And they're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. I should be hitting this person. So hopefully that's not another little thing.
And the other one we're just going to showcase real quick before we actually get to the notes is also regarding some changes to the lobby regarding being able to see badges of teammates and on your friends list too.
Yeah, so in the custom match lobbies and on your friends list, you will now see the avatar that your team members have equipped. Or not team members, just friends and whoever else.
I would say I'd show you the friends list, but I don't have any friends on this client. I don't have any friends in general. So yeah, we won't be able to see that. But you'll be able to see it when you get in your own games.
Yeah, so small but nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
And now let's talk about the thing people actually want to talk about, which is all the balance.
Let's go.
Everything. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. We're going to start things off with a couple of, I guess we're going to start right from the top here, because I did include the conquest changes just for a quick recap.
Yes.
I know we went over these on Wednesday, but I do think it's worthwhile just to review these as well. So Conquest, first of all, the Pathfinder, the speed and yellow buff no longer provides health and mana on jungle monsters slain. This has been moved to the jungle starters and fixed an issue where this would only remove item protection.
Yep.
It should have stayed in the freaking items only. I don't know why this was a thing. It never was a thing over in Smite 1.
Nope.
At least I don't think it was. To my knowledge and recollection, the extra health you get and mana was always on the starter items. This is why you get starters, all right? To find out that the yellow buff provided this on top of the starter item for junglers. Nah, man. Buff support.
Changes. Obviously, we guys can read through all
Buff
this.
Support item.
Too long to read, Pon? Do you have one? Or do I just need to read this out?
The TLDR is...
Dude, they got away with this for, what, almost 2 years?
Really far ahead and die, you aren't worth as much to the person who killed you. If you are really far behind and someone kills you, you're worth a little bit more now. We're just trying to bring those to be even. We still like that the fact that those exist, because if you kill someone way higher level than you should be rewarded for it. It was just too extreme. And as a kind of compensation for that, we're also lowering the base XP reward so that you can't start a snowball that early, because like it's also not as skillful like to get like 2 kills at the start of the game. You happen to get the double kill when you gank duo, and you happen to hit level 5 and you immediately go to mid and you kill them because you have your ultimate and they don't yet. And then like now you can also just freely invade because you're level 6 now. Like that type of lead isn't also something we should reward as much, because it's good, but it's like it's snowballing in a way that we don't want to. For context, Smite 1 is 50.
Okay.
So we are still rewarding that type of play more than we would in Smite 1.
However, it's just been toned down a little bit more. Awesome. So that's the kill formula stuff. Obviously, just a quick recap on your screen there. Decrease XP.
Yeah, because we did talk about that Wednesday. So.
Did we not?
We did. I've said, So we're not going to spend too much time on it.
Sure. Then God
Just gloss
respawns
over
as
it.
well. We did have a little look at the respawns in the game. We're going to be seeing the decrease respawn duration per level from 3 seconds to 2.5. Decreased respawn overtime threshold from 30 minutes to 20 minutes.
Okay.
From playtests that I've witnessed today, I fared almost intentionally today, just as a heads up in a playtest. It feels really quick that I'm back in the lane feeding again. So it's good in the early game. Later on, you will still feel that.
Run it down to feed, baby.
Yeah, and to compensate for that, we also increased the base teleporter time so that like if you are in that situation, you're not just constantly going back to lane.
Yep. I do want to point out before anyone in chat mentions that I did win that game, even though I did.
Yeah, you did.
Well, you're about the only person who died on your team. So.
Yep. 0 and 9 support, but we're like 20 what he says. Base teleporters. We've been making some adjustments to the base teleporters too. This was mentioned earlier. We're going to increase the cooldown from 210 to 240. But using a base teleporter before the match starts now applies a reduced cooldown to 10 seconds, it should say, not of 10 seconds, which means you can use it early in the game. Maybe get some aggressive wards down, group up for a team fight, rotate around the map, go back to base, and then TP back to lane real quick. Moonlight phase did also have some changes too. We increased the Moonlight shard spawn rate. We fixed an issue where the ritual site would not begin spawning shards when it changed hands as quick. And the ritual site will now spawn Moonlight shards every 2 seconds, even if people are not on the point.
Yeah. And the big point for the first one is that like the rate that it spawns Moonlight shards at scales with the number of people that are standing on it. So if your whole team groups up, you'll get it a lot faster than if you were just doing it by yourself.
Yeah, because it felt weird if your team was clearly winning and all standing there, it took too long. And so now so it's like if you're overwhelmingly winning that objective, you'll get it faster.
Finally, man. Finally.
Lane minion
millions
quality
of minions.
Millions of minions. Basically, quality of life adjustments for these. We've had a little look back at some examples from Smite 1, as well as made some adjustments for this as well. Some animations, you'll see some changes there. Formations and spacing should be a little bit better. Adjusted combat formation spread. The movement speed, we've lowered the minion acceleration values overall. Targeting, slightly decreased melee and ranged minion attack ranges. And then there's also a couple of notes that were already in the game, but weren't documented in the last one, which was Season 1 parody of hostility of the target minions. So basically just be a little bit more hostile towards gods, a little bit longer in time, and also reduce which minions target other minions. And then we actually get onto the new stuff that we should go through today, hopefully.
Which is, minions should just feel better, though. TLDR.
Yeah, grouping them, like especially like when I play the solo lane, grouping them feels more correct now.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
Some abilities that in Smite 1 I felt like you could easily hit the whole wave, and in Smite 2 you could not. Now, once again, it feels like I can, maybe not easily. You still have to line it up, right? But it's like more consistently hit the whole wave, the way I would expect to.
So the next one up is Assault. Now, this is basically changes towards respawns within the game mode. Basically just in line with what we're doing in Conquest, it seems. Trying to make sure this is more, I guess, interesting, but also valuable in Assault terms.
Yeah, and it's also like in Assault, like you do often, especially like even really early, feel like dying is a pretty big penalty. You're just going to lose a tower if you do. And so like sometimes you actually want to die so you can go by and have some more fun, but you feel like you shouldn't. Like you want just like there to be a bit more chaos and you to feel like you can actually play a bit more aggressively in the early game. But we still scale the time so that the game ends about the same time it normally should. So this is just early game speed up. And then, you can just teleport back to lane quicker because we think it's just going to be more fun for Assault players.
Hey, look at that. Let's go.
With the Masters a few times. Like, this is kind of where we settle, but can't talk.
That's okay.
What would be good numbers?
Too long to read on that, really. Faster respawns, quick.
60 seconds. The complete opposite for Conquest. Decreased overtime conversion rate. This means that every 30 seconds past the 30-minute mark, you will gain 1 second of respawn time, down from 60 seconds. Arena, increased ticket count. An extra 25 tickets now. Okay. Means the games might go a little bit longer. Items. Ooh, health potion shift. No! The potion healing got decreased. It got nerfed from 15 to 10. Although the duration went from 14 seconds to 22 seconds. Oh, that's just a small potion. Okay. No, the chalice got hit too! The same thing. Multi-potion, same. Oh my gosh. I mean, the duration is a lot longer. I don't know. We'll see the explanation for this. That sucks. Now, actually, well, like a Baron heal is actually going to be greater than a potion or a chalice heal.
Look at that. Get back to the action a little bit more.
They got nerfed.
That's the main focus of that one. Arena
Potions got nerfed.
Seen a small increase in ticket count. We did lower it down a little bit, but we've now raised it back up a little bit more just to compensate, I guess.
Yeah, we're just like fine tuning what the timing should be. This should put it really, really where we want it.
And then next up, as you can see, we're moving on towards items. And the first thing we're going to start with is some of the consumable items in the game. Health potions,
here we go.
Health chalice, and multi-potions.
Item balance.
We're having shifts as well.
Here we go.
Seems that they're going to have a lower healing amount per second, I believe.
Yes.
However, the duration of these are all increasing to match to 22 seconds.
Yeah, and I think roughly the goal is to keep them similar. Maybe they're a tad higher in healing overall, but they just won't burst you up in health as much.
Gotcha.
Which we just saw them. They were influencing, especially early game fights, too heavily.
Yeah.
They're really there for the sustain in between waves and like a little bit during the fights, but they were able to like really sustain you in the middle of the fight, and that was just, I think, too much power there.
It was kind of crazy the amount of healing that you got out of potions.
Yeah.
I mean, like not the amount, but just like the speed at which you could recover from something.
Also, Elixir of Strength, the next one, is seeing a nerf in strength and intelligence. Now has a duration of 360 seconds, which is 6 minutes. It'll last for 6 minutes and can no longer stack.
No more stacking elixirs.
Woo! They do survive through death still, Pon, just to confirm for the people
Damn.
who panic.
I don't think I removed that tag.
Okay. If that's in PTS or anything, just give us a heads up and we'll probably... That's classed as a bug then, is what we'll say if that is there. So you will keep these, but it is a 6 minute duration. Now, what's the reason for this, Pon?
So they were there to really help accelerate the end of the game and make sure the game ended. They were really originally meant to be a band-aid that we would eventually go and spend more time on kind of figuring out late game stuff. We figured out some of that already, but like we know we still have more room to go there. But we think it's causing too many problems as a band-aid to just leave there.
Okay.
So we think it's going to be a better state to be like, yeah, maybe games can go 50 minutes now because you can't quite get enough oomph to end the game. But we think that the overall like feel of like tanks when you are in like a really good slugfest match where it's going to like 35-40, that still feels pretty good. It's causing too much disruption at that point, and we think that that's a bigger negative than just ripping this out now. We still want to find some other ways for gold to be valuable late game in interesting ways.
Cool.
Bring back. Good morning, brother. We live indeed. Bring back defense pot, defense potion, man. We need that.
With the band-aid.
Makes sense. So it's still going to be valuable in the late game, but just not stacking.
Yeah.
See how that goes. Next up, Agility Relic is seeing a nerf. We're going to be increasing the cooldown from 10 to 20 seconds. Yep. Also, you can no longer fire abilities while dashing with Agility Relic.
That was a thing? Oh, it's in ranked now.
Hi.
Or it will be tomorrow. Yo, interesting. Okay. That's why they nerfed it. Because they're bringing it on ranked. And I did not even know you could fire abilities while using the relic.
Nope.
Morning, brother. Hello, hello.
Arguably a bigger
This is now enabled in Rank Conquest. Pom-Pom, this was introduced as a way to get players playing the game a little bit more. For new players seem to be really drawn to it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And it allowed them to like, get and understand the game a lot more. And we're now making adjustments here to like balance it overall a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think let's do there's two parts to this.
Yeah.
One is Agility Relic. We've seen that Agility Relic is we believe it's one of the main drivers enabling a lot of new players to enjoy the game. It's a relic that feels good to press on a relative.
It's fun. That's why. It's the fun relic. It's the I want to have fun relic. I'm not taking this ish seriously.
Nope.
I want to have fun. That's why I'm going Agility Relic.
So the cooldown, it also teaches you to use the button and use it more frequently, where you have more opportunity to like actually get the muscle memory for that. And we've seen that like of the things that we've done over Smite's lifetime, the patch where this was introduced, and we think again it's a contributor to it, is like the single biggest thing we've ever done for new player retention by far.
Yeah.
Like even in Smite 1, I think a lot of the things we tried in Smite 1, it was not even remotely as close. So when we stick to our guns in Agility Relic, know that's where we're coming from. That we think that that's a pretty big improvement. We think that it's also important for those players when they leave the quick play experience and go out of that relic is still available for them.
there.
As a balance of the fact that you're foregoing things like beads, you're foregoing things like Aegis, you're foregoing any of the other options that you could.
Yeah.
Yep. The fun item is still there.
And even pre this nerf, win rate was not
and so
exceptional.
Right, and so even in Casual Conquest, where this has been enabled for quite some time, we've seen that the play rate of it has stabilized out. Even though people have discovered new tech with it, we're not seeing a crazy rise in it. And it's about the same win rate as every other relic, because generally actually relics don't impact your win rate too much. Overall, like most of them are pretty close.
Wait, so not buying beads or getting
like choosing
having one is important.
Okay.
Yeah, having one's very important.
Sure.
But like
which
the,
one
the
you get?
difference between beads versus Aegis, like at the end of the day, like a lot of like your item and your character matter actually more because it's a tool everyone has.
That's fair. That's
Self balances
And your
as well within
playstyle,
what everyone else is
positioning.
doing. This is a significant
Decision
nerf on
making.
top of that, so we expect it to actually become kind of a bad relic.
Yeah.
But that's also okay because again, it's a tool to help players feel like they have this thing in
The
the same way that
fun
Inspector
relic.
meditation was helpful for new players because they just had a button they could hit when they were in danger. Because timing Aegis is a lot actually harder and more demanding for new players than anything else. They'll eventually learn that, like, yeah, there's some games where I do need a beads and Aegis instead. We think that this bounce point is going to be a lot better for it, and as such, it's a tool that is in the game. It should be available in all parts of the game. So the increased cooldown here and the big thing that I think was the major problem that was causing frustration at the higher levels of usage of this.
Really? I had no idea about this second point. I was clueless.
Nope.
In the high level like conquest games and was kind of a menace in arena was the tanks that could do things like dash and Sylvanas ult pre-fire and land on you with a Sylvanas ult covering that distance. That has been entirely removed.
What?
You can now actually like impale Sylvanas away now if he tries to do that. You can, it doesn't like just happen instantaneously for you. You were trying to do that to me today with Ymir.
I was.
Yeah, and I was able to react to that. Yeah, right. So like this has tempered the relic a lot, and we think that it's worth being in ranked. This is not where we will end. If this is,
I guess that's what I want to say now is like, listen, we're aware the community is going to be very vocal about agility relic, and this isn't the last. This is probably one of the first.
It's trash.
But it's not
Beach all this shit
I
talking.
guess, of keeping an eye on what goes on with this and how the feedback goes. Obviously, we're aware that old-time players are going to be like, "Oh, this is not what I had back in the day," and then the newer players are like, "Yo, this is kind of cool to have this extra mobility and extra option." But we understand that.
Yeah, and I think two things, right? We can obviously there's other things we can do to adjust. There could be a quick play version versus a out of quick play version if we want to try and do different balance that way. But I hope we built up some trust here in regards to like when we say things like this is having a very significant impact on people coming to and enjoying Smite and becoming longtime Smite players.
Because it's a fucking fun ass relic.
Just be trying to force this just for the sake of forcing it. We try things a lot. And when something sticks, we like, okay, cool, this is good to have. This is probably one of the things that has stuck the hardest that we've ever tried.
Okay.
So just when you're giving feedback on this, just know that that's kind of where we're coming from on our side. And we think that we've done pretty significant nerfs that it shouldn't disrupt the competitive play too much, but it'll still be a cool tool for people who want to use it.
So moving on then.
And fun.
Golden Dagger is
they never mentioned fun, man. Come on. This relic is fun as hell. Add that in there. Like, it's fun. Just say it. Just say it's fun. It's okay to say it's fun. It's okay to have fun in this game, all right?
A shift. We're going to be removing the 50 true damage to jungle monsters. Now also increases the attack damage by 50% to jungle monsters. Increase bonus damage cleave from 15% to 20%. And new on jungle monster slain, health heal of 10% of the slain monster's health at 40 mana. This is obviously going in line with the speed buff changes.
Yes, I think we can actually go through these really fast because they all basically are the same. We removed that like just free damage you got on your basic attack from all of them. That just no longer exists. We compensated for that by just making the effect better. So cleave on Bumba's Gold Dagger is just better.
Excuse me.
Cudgel actually does like an AoE hit to everyone, and it does like significantly more damage to jungle monsters now. So that's really how you're actually doing the damage to your jungle monsters rather than just free attack damage that it was doing before. All the upgrades lost their structure bonus, so now it's only jungle and jungle bosses, no more structure bonuses.
Okay.
And then Bumba's Cudgel got a slight buff, and Hammer got an on-kill effect to match Golden Spear having an on-kill effect, which is Golden Spear gives strength and intelligence 10%. Hammer gives 10 CDR now.
Okay, I can just switch to them if you want. So real quick, Golden Dagger, we already mentioned that one. Golden Spear, however, 75 true damage to jungle monster bosses. Now also increases attack damage by 50% to jungle monsters and bosses, increase bonus damage cleave 15 to 20%, and remove the 50% damage to structures. Bumba's Cudgel has the shift.
They did damage to structures.
5 removes attack damage
for the starter item
to jungle monsters, increase buff
extra
attack true damage to
structure
15.
damage.
Now also increases attack damage by 50% to jungle monsters.
Junglers,
now
man, they have a lot of
bonus
love.
Damage in a 1.92 meter radius of the target. Increase the buff attack true damage against jungle monsters to 90.
Penguin Sash.
And on jungle monsters slain, health heal 10% of the slain monster's health.
Penguin Sash got touched up.
Was just mentioned there. Remove the true damage once again. Now also increases damage by 50% to jungle monsters and bosses. Remove the 50 damage to structures and increased the buffed attack true damage against jungle monsters. Now also deals bonus damage in an area around you and on jungle monster and boss lane.
Like a mini
for
golden
30
blade.
seconds. Whew. Next up, Sanguish Lash rework. I didn't even know about this one.
Yeah, I got reworked.
Tell me more.
This was one of the ones that was it had two problems. One, I think there's valid criticism that items sometimes get too complex.
Yeah, chat. This is not all of Sanguine Lash's description.
Yeah, this is not all of Sanguine Lash's. There's more.
This is the page break.
That's why I waited.
They're already bugging.
Some items do have too many moving pieces, and I think an example of like a thing that has too many moving pieces is where like it's not just like it's long text, because that's thing that are unrelated to each other. So like I know people are saying for like Stygian Anchor, oh, this is another long tooltip thing, but it's really when I deal damage, I apply a debuff. And the debuff does some stuff.
Yeah.
Sanguine was like, I tick in a way that also reduces the cooldown of a thing that does something completely differently, that has multiple charges. Like, that's a type of, I think, not focused item.
Okay.
Another one that we'll get to here is Reaper. Reaper also got reworked. So Sanguine Lash got reworked to be much more focused. It's now focused on that tick aura, and the active effect is it makes the tick aura better.
So 2800 to 2650, increase the strength from 25 to 35, decrease the lifesteal from 7.5 to 5%, remove ticks, lower the cooldown of the active effect, removed current on use. The new on use, gain 5% lifesteal and decrease tick rate for every 0.33 seconds for 4 seconds. Decrease the cooldown of this item as well from 100 seconds to 40 seconds, and also decrease the charges from 3 to 1.
Oh, I didn't mention the second problem with this. Yeah, you have 3 charges, and sometimes you can just walk on someone and burst them down. And there's not the counterplay.
Okay.
Right? That's the other part. And it's not, again, unlike someone in chat phrased my thing, it's not that people can't read. It's that items should probably be more focused in their intent of what they do.
People don't read. Not so they can't read is what I will
say. They don't.
It was really funny. We actually were playing a game last night.
A live binder. No! I just started using this item, dog. Come on. Decrease base damage by 50. Increase per level damage from 5 to 8. Decrease base healing from 110 to 60. Increase per level healing from 5 to 8. Increase intelligence from 50 to 60. And fixed an issue where Lifebinder was dealing 120 plus 5 per level to minions. It now matches the listed damage. Oh, Devil's Gauntlet got hit too. Okay, let me see. Decrease lifesteal per stack from 0.075 to 0.05%. Increase strength bonus for reaching 75 stacks from 5 to 10, so it's doubled. Final strength goes from 70 to 75, and final lifesteal gets decreased from 13.65 to 11.75%. I only really thought Devils was good on Nut. That's it. I only really noticed the lifesteal when I used that item on Nut. Not so much on any other god.
Nope.
That's why this was not a primary item for me.
Nope.
And now that it has infinite stack, that's why people build it. I don't see it, man.
Nope.
I don't see why this item is so OP. I only see that it's infinitely stackable, although I don't see the lifesteal portion of it. That's why it doesn't resonate with me the way Aussie does.
And both me and another person were like looking for a specific type of dice because the picture showed a D6, but the top above it said D12, and we need a D12 dice.
Right.
And both of us spent like a solid 10 minutes looking for a D6 dice.
Because it said D12.
But it's a D12.
What happened?
The picture showed a D. Both me and another person. Actually, we were playing.
People don't read. Not so they can't read is what I will say.
Okay, they don't.
It was really funny. We actually were playing. We were playing a game last night, and both me and another person were like looking for a specific type of dice because the picture showed a D6, but the top above it said D12, and we need a D12 dice.
Right.
And both of us spent like a solid 10 minutes looking for a D6 dice.
Because it said D12.
But but it's a D12.
Gotcha.
Because the picture was a D6.
The picture was a D6. Yeah, I don't read.
Interesting.
Damn.
Next up, Lifebinder, another shift coming for this one as well.
Nerf.
Decrease the base damage from 110 to 60, increase the per level damage from 5 to 8, decrease the
Didn't
base
get the
healing
little
from
shield
110 to
anymore.
60, increase per level healing 5 to 8, and increase the intelligence from 50 to 60, and fix an issue where Lifebinder was dealing more damage. It now matches the listed damage. Pond, this feels like, overall damage early game down.
Yeah, so
is what I'm feeling from
damage
this?
early game down significantly.
Okay.
Yes.
The swing that it also causes down significantly. It was previously it's like a 220 health swing.
Yeah.
It's now down to 120.
Okay, so
and it
half
scales
that
to
damage, yeah.
basically just a little better than it was before.
Okay.
And because if we just did that, that would be such a significant nerf to the item. We also compensate with a little bit of intelligence here. This is to address a particular problem that we were getting reports of kind of these range support healers, dual lanes. You just rush Lifebinder and get so much
Emoji.
pressure from that. So this is part one of a nerf to that.
Probably
And
Sylvanas.
I think each of those range
Ice is
supports also
cold.
got a slight nerf as well. A set getting more, we'll get there, but that's part of this. Again, this is probably overall a nerf to the item at the end of the day because you're just losing that early pressure, which is what was most valuable about it. But it's much more reasonable over the course of the rest of the game now.
Next up then is Devour's Gauntlets. This is also seen a shift, decreasing the lifesteal per stack.
The only good,
is going to be going down
or
to
one of the
0.05
only
from
good support items.
0.75, and increase the strength bonus for reaching 75 sticks. Was 5, now 10. So final strength will be 75 total rather than 70. However, final lifesteal will be going down from 13.6 to 11.75.
Yeah, this is a slight nerf to also just one Hunter lifesteal, but also the soul laners who are going Sanguine and Devos. That build has now lost actually a pretty decent amount of lifesteal with these two changes combined, which we think is just going to put the soul laners also in a better spot.
Our Reaper, also, you mentioned this a little bit earlier,
The
we're going to be
Reaper.
removing all stacking mechanics on this item, increase strength from 30 to 65, and rework Moonlit Phase benefit. God Assist will also grant the full heal. That's what I have on the Reaper.
Yeah, so again, the Reaper has gone through a whole bunch of reworks. It had a whole stacking mechanic that had a whole bunch of things going on with it. When it had a relatively actually good effect that we introduced on one of the later reworks, which is, when you kill someone, you heal some. Great. It's a really focused item. It focuses on killing, straightforward, a good effect to want to buy, and now we can give it stats to compensate because it doesn't have as much wild swings. I think it's just going to be a nice lifesteal, high strength item for people who want that type of build.
Okay. Next up on the list, Fear of Negation. We've not really seen too much of this, I would say.
Yeah.
Fear of
I'm going to see
Negation.
now the cost is going down from
look at
3150
that.
to 2750. They decrease the intelligence 60 to 40.
I think that's a
decrease the
Sphinx's
magic protection
bubble.
85 to 70. And new, gain
Smite one.
2.5% max health magic shield every 3 seconds, up to a maximum of 15% maximum health.
Yeah, we'll probably slowly work through all the stat stick items and do things like this. But essentially now it has a passive that it focuses on being more anti-magical in a way that's a bit more interesting than just having a metric ton of magical prots.
And then next up, anti-heal item pass. Obviously, there's a wall of text here in terms of...
I mean, you can use erosion probably to counter this. It's a shield. Erosion is anti-shield, and that and then the axe one.
DevNo's Palm, but do you want to just kind of crib note that for us? Or?
Yeah,
I could have talked about this on Wednesday as well.
Yeah,
so we can kinda go
we
quickly
did
through
go
it.
over this, but basically, God healing is probably a little low. Item healing and lifesteal healing is probably a little high. We are compensating some healers with slight buffs back, but we're also now introducing a slew of these counter anti-healing items that aren't just like the only one that reduces healing is Stygian Anchor, and again, it doesn't reduce it nearly as much as it did in the past. And the rest of them are much more focused on.
What is even that? Stygian Anchor. It's the first time I'm hearing about it. The tank focused counter healing. I never built this thing.
Nope.
What the hell is Stygian Anchor? Builds from Engraved Guard. Cost 25.50. It's Omniprot. Oh, is this the new one? Nah, it can't be that new item. It wasn't Shibalba's effigy. I think that's the one. Stygian Anchor. I think it's one of the new items because I've never seen this item. No changes. Okay, yeah, we already saw this one.
on having pretty good effects on their own and being buildable in their own right, and then getting even that much better when you are building them against healers. And it's focused on making sure that the effects are healing, not just like on ability cast. That's actually, we ran this by the ambassadors once, and their feedback was like, yeah, it works, but like they're all focused on like ability cast when we initially proposed it, and that doesn't affect lifesteal and anti-heal, or lifesteal and item healing.
Gotcha.
So these are much more focused now to be able to be more ubiquitous.
So generally, the anti-heal section of the item shop has returned, so you can now click on item shop to filter for these items. Brawler's Beat Sticker will be in there. It's no changes, but move to the store. Stygian Anchor, a new item which we introduced and spoke about on Wednesday, has seen some shifts and adjustments.
It is new.
Some feedback already came in from this, but builds from an engraved guard. Cost total 25.50. Physical and magical protections are 25 each. 25 basic attack.
And those are all 30 when we talked about
Correct.
this.
Yeah, I was going to summarize the nerfs we did in PTS.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so
Well, yeah.
finish the item.
Yes, sir. On guard damage dealt, apply 1 stack of Stygian Sludge for 5 seconds, max 5 stacks. Triggers only once per ability per target. And per stack, 3% of movement speed, 3% of attack speed, and 4% of healing will be stopped.
Yeah, so the nerfs from PTS are, this was all 30.
Yeah.
So 5 prots across the board and 5 unpowered. Removing that much stats from item is generally a pretty big nerf. We increased the cost by 100.
Yeah.
We made it so you actually have to deal damage. It used to be on damage dealt or taken.
Yeah.
Now you actually be more progressive. Like
You
you
have
have
to
to
do
actually
something.
do something.
Yeah.
It's not just going to kind of
Just
happen
exist,
as much.
yeah.
And we also reduced the attack speed. And then one thing that we'll get to later, but it relates to Stygian Anchor, is the Avenging Blade also got a nerf to remove the movement speed slow on it. Because we saw you could stack both these things pretty effectively and slow someone too much.
New items.
So you don't have that also build synergy with that item anymore.
Divine Ruin, mid-focus, counter healing. Basically, ability of attack, hit enemy, trigger chain lightning, the bounce is 4.8 meters. Magical damage 40 plus 20% intelligence. Marks enemies for 6 seconds, can hit the same target more than once. Cooldown 15 seconds, and the mark on target heals 50 health. 0.25 second cooldown.
Yep.
Kins also mentioned, or Chins, I should say, already mentioned as well, but Chin's Blade, carry focus.
There's Avenging
item.
Blade.
Enemies gain 1 stack for every 100 health they restored within
Jungler
12.8
focus
meters, stacks on 6
counter
seconds, and a max of 6
New
stacks.
icon.
Attack hit, physical bonus, damage to enemy hit, and bonus damage, 1.5% targets max health. Plus, choose highest of target
Increase
max health,
protection reduction
or
per
7.5% of how much more max health they have.
And
Increase
the other
debuff
note for
duration.
King's Blade is this previously didn't actually have any of that base max health.
Yeah.
That's something we intentionally did. That made the item too niche in what it was doing, in the same way that like we want the anti-heal items that be generally okay and then be better. We've made Chins that way. So 1.5 is a lot lower than a lot of the iterations we had for Chins in the past, but you'll have some base level of usefulness against gods, and then it gets better when you actually build it into someone that focuses the counter on.
Avenging Blade, Pom Pom mentioned a little bit of time ago. Got a new item. Sorry, got a new icon. Item. Removed movement speed reduction. Decrease the protections reduction per stack from 5% to 3.5%. Increase the debuff duration from 3 to 4 seconds. A new while in the jungle or on restoring 5% of their health. Stacks are twice as effective.
Yep.
And then we get to the next page, which is Contagion, first of all. Just being added to the item section, not having any changes, but will be part of that item section.
Yep.
Obviously, I've got a couple of god things on the screen already.
Oh, that's
I guess we should
items.
probably talk some of those over, Pom.
Sorry, say that again?
I saw that in obviously,
chat.
the next screen is just the leap
Oh,
situation and some adjustments there. So, range gods. Is it range?
That's it for items. All standard attack projectiles have had their speed adjusted to 17.6 meters per second. I gotta sneeze. It's about to come, maybe. For most ported hunters, this means they stay the same. For most ported mages, this means they go faster. Up from 16 meters per second. Yeah, 1.6. Yo, Soul's gonna be hitting faster. Great.
Guess I'll just read this one out first. Sorry. Rage Gods all standard attack projectiles
Buff
have
the
their
soul.
speed adjusted to 17
And Agni ADC.
milliseconds. For most ported hunters, this means that stay the same. For most ported mages, this means they go faster, up from 60 milliseconds.
Yeah,
I
we think
mean,
just
like, all
making
mages.
that more consistent across the board.
Yeah.
The speed up is noticeable if you're really looking side by side, but this just makes the characters feel better to play overall.
Gotcha. Leap adjustments. My apologies.
Yes.
Skip that little point. I just saw it on the screen and goodness with how we do this. Leap adjustments. Ho Yi is seeing a change to his dive bomb. This isn't the only character that's seen some of these adjustments, right?
Yeah, so this came up as 2 pieces of feedback.
Yeah.
Hu Yi is now too responsive.
Yep.
Literally, he's still on the ground when I go to hit him, and I don't hit him, and that feels bad. And then the other side of the equation is I leapt as a character. I saw my character leave the ground, and then I got stunned, and I got pulled back to the ground, and I feel really, really upset. They're both basically sides of the same coin. We actually made Dive Bomb intentionally really, really fast to alleviate this problem because it was like the notorious biggest offender of this in Smite 1. For Hu Yi, we made this just too intense.
Right.
So we've now increased the window there. It should feel a little bit better. If the character's really still obviously on the ground, you get stunned, but it should create a window where, like, if on your client you see yourself go up in the air, you're probably immune at that point. It's not something we can fix like perfectly unless we make everything server authenticated, which will make the game very sluggish. If there's going to be server client disagreement at some points, and so we can't always predict it, but we can side in the favor of the player a little bit by trying to time the window such that, like, on your client, you probably saw yourself leave the ground when you became immune.
So, increase the build-up time on Dive Bomb 0 to 0.066.
2
this
frames.
is still significantly shorter than Smite 1's 0.5, but we feel removing it is better. Anher is also going to see an adjustment on Disperse on his 3.
I don't think I ever knew what on hers 3 was called.
Disperse. Yeah. It's because when he lands, he disperses.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
It's a weird one. Decrease the build-up time from 0.15 seconds to 0.1, so actually a quicker.
Yeah, so in Honor's case, right, you sometimes saw yourself leave the ground and then you get pulled back down.
Yeah.
So the idea here is that I went and looked at the montage, and I went and looked at the frame that you left the ground, and I basically try to subtract about 2 server ticks worth of time off that, and that's the number we landed on, because a good connection is generally 2 server ticks worth of time. It can sometimes be 1 server tick worth of time.
Yeah.
So this should be roughly, on your client, you probably see yourself leave the ground when you become immune now. That's the case for all of these.
I was going to say, so Tunetank Hu Yi kind of adjusted to be like a little bit more in line with the other ones.
Yes.
And Anher Neath are seeing a bit of a speed up. Almost.
Yeah, they're seeing a speed up so that if on your client you look like you left the ground, you're good to go.
Okay. Carly as well.
I was noticing that with Neath over this weekend, I was just doing some practice games.
All right, you guys,
With the
you're
free
about
man.
to watch 180 seconds of ads. Don't forget you can use your Prime sub to skip through them.
And I would root her, and instead of getting rooted, she actually leaped away. Which was quite odd to me. Because I know I timed my route perfectly. And I was like, there's no way that every time, or the stun with the 1, like every time, this Neath is figuring out my timing. I rooted her or stunned her 2 out of 10 times. I thought that was weird. Because on my end, I would throw out my 1. She would get stunned, or that's what I was expecting. And instead, she just leaped away. I was like, what? That's weird. Either this Neath has incredible reflexes, or there's something going on here. Because to have all these roots or stuns, all these stuns land on my end, and then on my end at the same time, seeing her actually leap backwards, I thought that was weird. So I did notice this. I did.
Nimble Strike is going to be.
Now she's going to jump even faster.
A bit of a speedier jump.
Yeah, and if there's other jumps that end up feeling similarly, I can take the same look and pass. There's like 1 or 2 that were also listed, but they didn't have as nearly the same. Like these ones were like clearly fell within that.
All right, you guys,
like there
you're
was
about
some
to
delay
watch
there.
180 seconds of ads. Don't forget you can use your Prime sub to skip through them.
There was some sort of weird delay there, where instead of getting stunned, she backflipped. I'm like, what? So she backflipped before I even threw out my 1, my bud. But the point is, she never got stunned, or rarely ever got stunned. It was weird.
I ended up taking off of them, so
Okay. Next up on the list is healers. We're having a look at healers once
Afro
again.
getting
Probably
more
looks like,
healing.
I've just a quick glance. Looks
Late
like a bit
game.
of an increase to these.
Yeah, so this is just again because we added anti-heal items. We think God healing is just a tad weak
Guan
right
Yu.
now on a few specific healers. We wanted to compensate, buff them back a little bit from the anti-heal path.
Specific healers, what you said.
Specific healers. So Aphrodite, Guan Yu, and Raw, and especially Raw aspect.
Okay,
So Aphrodite Lovebirds will go from 10 to 18, now 10 to 22.
Thermotherapy.
Conviction on Guan Yu will heal from 45 to 125, and now be 45 to 145. So both of those later on in the game as you level up these abilities. Conviction from the aspect as well, 6 to 26 will now be 7 to 31. And Raw Solar Blessing heal, 10 to 38 will now be 10 to 46. An aspect of thermopathy, searing pain.
Thermotherapy.
Is it
Thermotherapy?
Sorry, thermopathy. I didn't see
Thermopathy.
Read part of that right. I'm an idiot. Who can? Increase heal 150 to 550 and 160 to 600 will be the new line.
Yeah,
Range
okay.
supports, Pom Pom. We mentioned these earlier. That's what's on the screen now.
Baron?
So there
Oh,
was
yeah,
some
Baron.
adjustments to some of these not necessarily sustaining, but range supports in general.
Yeah, the general theme for all of these is because they're ranged, they're also good at poking. They're good at early pressure. We want to basically bring down their early damage a hair, let them scale up to about the same value, or compensate.
All right,
the
you
mage style of
guys,
play for that.
you're
So, like,
about
Baron's
to
a good
watch
example.
180 seconds of ads. Don't forget you can
Baron,
use your Prime
Yamoji,
sub to skip
and
through them.
Ice is cold. Very strong. Yeah, they're the top 3. Pushing out other gods with their high range pressure and base damage. All 3 in different ways tailored their unique cases. Wanted to be reserved as Life Binder, a key rush item. Yep. Is also receiving adjustments in this patch to reduce that early pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
The base damage got brought down on Vivid Gaze overall, but we actually increased the double hit damage window. So you can double hit part of the wave, but not the whole wave. Your overall clear will go down. But when you double hit, especially the scaling is now going to be more amplified, so Mage Baron players should feel more oomph in the double hit.
Gotcha.
Right.
So the parts where you hit with the double hit do more damage, but overall you'll see less if you're just going to hit part.
Yes.
Decrease the base damage then from 85 to 330 will now be 70 to 290, and the double hit will go from 25% to 35%. Yamoja going to see the bouncing bubbles decreased base damage 65 to 225 will now be 56 to 224, and decrease the small base damage from 28 to 112. The Moonstrike will
That one did so much damage, man. She only lost 1 tick of damage. Late game. Early games where she got hit. Decrease small base damage. Oh, this is the small bubbles. Big bubble and then the small bubbles. Moonstrike. Decrease outer damage. 40. It's now 30. Aspect of downpour. Bouncing bubble. Increase big bubble intelligence scaling 50 to 60. Increase small bubble intelligence 25 to 30. Okay.
We'll also see a decreased outer damage from 40, 140 will now be 30.
I'm cool with it. I don't mind.
Yes. An aspect of downpour, the bouncing bubbles, increase big bubble intelligence scaling from 50% to 60% and increase the small bubble intelligence scaling from 25% to 30%.
Yep. Mage, Aspect, Yamoja, basically kind of getting buffs to compensate for the nerfs, and then just base Yamoja. Early game going down, but it should scale to roughly the same number it did before, or even a little bit higher in some cases.
Iset next on the list. Obviously played a lot lately. One of the newer gods released to the game. And
she was noticeably more broken than Yamoja and Baron, so her nerfs are more intense.
Okay, cool. I was kind of slow rolling.
I feel
turning
like
the page here
I feel like the Moonstrike final damage should be 130 and not 150. Just looking at because it goes up 30 every time.
Yeah, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150.
Oh, I'm doing the math wrong. Okay, yeah, we're good. Sorry.
Do you remember that there's like a clip of someone like talking about like time spent on like one of the parking meters?
Yes.
And he really confidently says the math.
I'm trying to read on this monitor.
No, I understand.
I just see
Friday.
I just see Kilgoon trying to get Yamoja nerfed a little.
No, I was like, because it is more damage
at the end.
At the end, but it's less at the beginning. So.
Moving on to ESET then, here's a little look. Funeral Rites, the passive, fix an issue where the god decoys were providing stacks. Spirit Ball, the second ability, increased the cooldown. This was flat 10 seconds, now I'm going to scale down.
No! Aspect, okay, here's her aspect. Yo, her 2 got, it's increased or decreased, decaying cooldown. Decreased protection scaling bonus 8% is now 6%. Wing Gust, her one, decreased base damage 45 to 125, now 40 to 120. New. If the first hit of a projectile is a minion, you only gain 50% healing. You gain an additional 50% if that same projectile hits an enemy god as well. So if a god is standing next to a minion and you hit him with the basic, you get 100% healing. Okay.
Down to 10 seconds at max rank. We'll
Let
start
him
at
explain.
15 seconds. An aspect of the Life Warden attack that decreased the protection scaling bonus from 8% to 6%. And Wing Gust, we're going to see a decreased base damage on Wing Gust while in aspect from 45 to 125.
Damn it, man.
40 to
Support
120.
getting nerfed.
And new, if the first hit of a projectile is a minion, you only gain 50% healing. You gain an additional 50% if that same projectile hits an enemy god. So aiming it at a wave doesn't really heal you as much, but if you are, trying to hit a god with this and do hit a god with this, you will see an increased heal.
Yeah, and this match is kind of like our initial anti-heal stuff that we talked about, which was like the ease of healing.
Yeah.
It was actually just healing too much for how easy it was to trigger. You could just cast your 3, you don't even have to hit anything, and then you hit anything with your 1, and you actually provide your team a lot of healing. If you're going to provide that much healing, you should probably be hitting a god with it and hitting that skill shot check. If you're not hitting a god, then you're only getting partial of it. And that tooltip is just to make sure that if you hit a minion first and then do hit a god, you do get that full healing amount.
And then I believe we're onto general balance now for
balance.
the rest of it. I don't know.
Top 3 supports got nerfed
all over the place with these gods too. But all these notes will be available come Tuesday as part of the update as well.
Tuesday, tomorrow.
People are really interested on social a little bit.
A note for also why the patch is this way. Like this is what I meant by this patch ended up kind of exploding.
Yeah.
Because what we ended up doing was having a topic. And then we okay, well, let's figure out what we want to do to address this topic. And we ended up just with 6 different topics.
Leaps, healing, new items, adjustments to minions and experience gains. So, general Agni aspect is going to be seen as shift. The combustion passive, we've removed the base damage per ability, rank 30 to 150. Increased the base damage from 0 to 10, increased the per level damage from 0 to 10, and decreased stack multiplier 1.2 to 2, 1 to 2. This also means that at a single stack, the damage matches the tooltip. Previously, it was impossible to see the tooltip value, and level 1 damage 36 to 20, level 20 damage 180 to 210.
Very brief TLDR.
Yeah, give me a TLDR on that one.
This now scales over the course of the game better.
Okay.
So late game Agni is actually probably a little bit stronger
than what it was before. Yep.
But Agni had a quirk with how this worked before, which was the combustion when it consumed all the stacks on the aspect was based off the rank of the ability that consumed it.
Right.
And because you could spike up your flame wave really quickly, you could just do it's the Lifebinder problem.
Sure.
You just could spike up the early game so hard and just immediately execute someone in the laning phase. That kicks off a snowball that makes them really, really oppressive to deal with. This is now just a base plus per level, so it scales evenly with the game. It also means that you can reasonably proc it with your ultimate now and not feel bad about it, because that was actually a trap. If it's especially level 7, 8, 9, that was a really bad time to use your ult to proc the combustion.
Okay.
And so now it's actually just more generically, it makes it more straightforward. It fixes a really early spike problem. He's now better over the course of the game. It should just be a better place for him.
Okay. Next up is one of the additional reasons you were really on the show, because you weren't available for Wednesday, but we went over the Aladdin soft rework. Where do we start on this one, Palm? I mean, there's a lot of changes that went through. These were already released. A lot of people have discussed already.
Yeah, let's not read through it again.
Available. No, I don't. But I don't really want to, but I will if we need to. But these are all available. How has feedback been so far from people that you've seen test it out on the PTS and
give us the TLDR on
have received this?
Yeah, so it's obviously anytime we do a major change to how a character functions, there's gonna be some people who are sad that a certain playstyle is gone or there's a part that's missing. Again, when we try and do these changes, it's because we have a really good reason behind it. Aladdin is the least popular god in the game. Actually, there was a thread where someone I think summarized my argument really, really well. He's the least popular god in the entire game.
And by popular, we mean just not played, right?
No one plays it.
I guess the thing is, people I love Aladdin, but nobody plays it.
And people are well, he's always banned to rank. That's why I don't play him. This is not just talking about rank. This means
across all game modes.
All game modes. And the other game modes far outweigh ranked matches. So, the impact of him being banned a lot in ranked is very small on his overall play rate.
And it's not that unpopular gods are necessarily bad. He's just an order above unpopular, because we've had to nerf him so many times because of his top level play.
Damage.
That it's just
His damage.
easily untenable for anyone else.
Yeah.
He's also the lowest win rate in all those modes, and he's one of the highest win rates in ranked because he's
at the highest levels of ranked.
Highest levels of ranked. If you are literally not in the top 5 lobbies launching at any given time, you are losing with Aladdin. If you are in those top 5, you could probably actually play Aladdin and do well.
Yep.
That's the kind of like, it's not just he's a hard character and we're trying to make a character easy. It is he is an order of magnitude above harder, demonstrably. It's not just people who play normally like, oh, people need to get better at the game. There are actually only a handful of players who could even remotely play this character. If we nerf him to be balanced in those hands, he will get even worse in the metrics that he currently has, which is already the lowest in the game.
If he was balanced for those players, he'd be like a 30% win rate character, maybe.
Like,
right?
Giannis is a good example of a character. Like, we actually just know that he's going to be a low win rate. We know that we have to kind of tune him accordingly. Aladdin is like 2 orders of magnitude worse of that type of problem, and he's not even popular for it.
Damn.
Giannis is actually relatively popular. Right? So that also means that there's a fundamental way the character's playing that also doesn't even feel fun, even if when like Giannis loses most of his games. But you still have fun with Giannis, right? Because there's something core about Giannis that feels good.
No. Janice, my man, no. Janice loses most of his games. Oh my gosh. On the top end though, he's insane. He's so mobile, man. It's tough. It's tough to believe that he loses most of his games. Damn.
Good. But also shows Aladdin has another fundamental problem there. So because of all those reasons, we're gonna swing big, make big adjustments to him, and see where we land and see if we can get him into a healthier spot. And that's what these changes are.
To follow that up on, I'm guessing this won't be the last time we revisit Aladdin in the near future if things don't work out perfectly, or there's small aspects of these adjustments you've made here.
Need another
hit the nail on the head with what you were trying to aim for here.
Yeah, and we'll make adjustments. I have a few other ideas for things that like he's also now in a state where I think we can try a lot of other stuff. I also mentioned like working on his aspects is going to be easier now because previously, especially the double genie refire had a whole bunch of things. Some people also made suggestions like, what if just the leap took 2 and the rest took 1? That's like another route we could go because that also limits like one of his biggest things where like he could just absolutely obliterate people. There's a lot of things we can try.
2 dashes.
Overall, move him into a much healthier place, and then we'll react pretty quickly to what we actually see on patch day. I have some queries.
You'll get data coming in, I guess.
I can run my own queries now. I have the power to access the database in a way that I haven't before. So I'll be able to look at actually like I'll be able to dive a lot more than I have in the past, quicker than I have in the past. So I'm gonna keep a really close eye on this because obviously I'm biased too. Like I worked on Aladdin. I like Aladdin. Yeah. I like Aladdin's kit in the same way that I like Set's kit. And Set has similar problems.
I mean, I'm not trying to blow smoke at your nose, Apon, but I think it's really weird for a dev to go, listen, I made this character. The goals were there. We've struggled with it. I'm not happy with how it's come out at the end. I'm going to go back and do some work on this. Like it's really cool to see, to be honest, and like just the openness of it. So that is a little look at Aladdin. There's a plethora of changes there.
A baloney nerf.
Very long.
Very long.
Go through it all, test it out in game. Honestly, don't read it. Go in and just play him. Is what I suggest for some people. If you've not played him before, don't play him.
It's really hard to evaluate these changes.
You will see a lot of Aladdin, I expect, next week. Moving on from Aladdin then.
Sorry, just real quick. Somebody did mention like, did you fix the Aladdin 3 bug of phasing through the floor? We did make improvements to the wall run. Yeah,
we made improvements to the wall run. We fixed a bug where his ult wasn't actually showing where people were going to leave on the enemy side, and we also fixed the notorious you fire your 1. You get stunned, you can no longer refire it. That's also been fixed. So there's also comes with a few other bug things that we also know were like pain points.
I didn't run into any of these.
Yep. Also, someone keeps spamming about Dargy's bug with Aladdin. Obviously, Dargy was in PTS.
Yeah, we fixed that.
We have been working on that, and that should be fixed for live as well. Small issues there, but it has been adjusted. Moving on then, Bologna will be seeing a nerf. Shield Bash decreased the base damage of this ability.
Well, the 3, there we go.
It will now go to 75 to 235, and Scourge increase the cooldown 14 to 12, now be 16 to 12.
Ooh, okay.
Increase the disarm duration as well. It was 1.5 to 1.9, will be now 1.25. to 1.85. So overall, slight change at the max rank.
Not on the healing, though.
Yeah, she was running solo lane in a lot of ways, and this should just kind of temper that, especially like the early cooldown increases and the decrease of the disarm duration will help a lot there.
Kernanos as well. We'll be seeing a buff. Bramble Blast. Sorry, Bramble Blast. Increased base damage 65 to 205 will be 65 to 245. So late game extra damage there on the 2. And the Wild Hunt new will now apply your current season effects to the enemy hit interest.
Yo, that's actually big. So you can pre-set up whatever season you want to apply. So if you want to heal off of them, you use your 1. If you want to do more damage, your 2. If you want to debuff them, your 3. And if you want to slow them, 4. Leave it on the ice stand. You might actually be able to hit the goats better now if you apply the slow on them. Because when they turn into the goat, they run around all wild, all willy-nilly, right? And for us mechanically challenged players, at times it would be difficult to hit them. Now with the slow, it might make it easier for us to hit them. Damn, okay. I think this is big. This is a big buff to Kernunos. And then his 2 is doing way more damage on the back end or the end game, late game stages. That's really good too.
Yeah, just
Can't wait to see how this turns out.
To the to Kernanos. Gives more power there. You can apply AoE pen. You can do AoE damage. You can heal a whole bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then last but not least, on this update note for today for the balance.
You might get more playtime now.
Osiris aspect nerf, aspect of the fragmented. We fixed an issue with the passive where this was granting a charge every 3 seconds passively rather than the listed 4 seconds. And Sickle Strike, we've decreased the protection from item scaling to from 20% to 15%.
Nerf.
Yeah, he was throwing too many ones, and when he was bruiser build, he was still a little bit too good at throwing ones. This should just temper both sides of that.
Awesome. That, I believe, I'm just pressing the button again to make sure, yep, that's everything I have on that front. But I was 50 minutes of talking about that.
Someone,
just under.
Clumsy just needs to block me from ever touching the balance dock. Because, like, this patch really did not end, like, I don't know why it ended, like, for some reason, it just ended up being really big.
Yeah, I think sometimes what ends up happening from outside of looking in a weird way, because I kind of see you all working on the dev stuff, but sometimes you've all got projects going on at the same time, and then they all just seem to happen.
Yeah.
At once where they come to fruition, and it's one of the hard things of like we'd like to announce all these things, and Kilgan does, in my opinion, a pretty good job of like saying, "Hey, this is what's to come," and kind of gets it right most of the time, which is quite surprising.
Eyeballs it
it's just so
quite
difficult
well.
to kind of.
It's tough to project.
Yeah, to project it perfectly.
And it's like sometimes people are like, "Yeah, I'm definitely doing this for this patch," and I'm like, "There's no way this is getting done for this patch," you know. But it's worth them working on the thing because it's an important thing and we want to get it done. For sure. But then sometimes it's like multiple departments have their big things all drop on the same patch and you end up with a big one. So it's good. I think that I don't know. Like I said, I think that we're making good progress. I think that the game's getting better. And I'm curious to see how people feel about this really big update on Tuesday.
Day by day, week by week. We have time for questions. We will take some in chat. I expect there'll be a lot of questions. We will try and get through as many as we can. If you have them, start throwing them in chat right now. The link for these.
Setsuna Fairy, I just got here. So is Aphrodite broken and buffed? Aphrodite heal is buffed.
We did it.
But not broken.
Not broken, just buffed.
Someone mentioned any plans for Yorm nerf. He's actually was not really on our radar at the start of OP23, but he's become more like noticeable there. And then also I know on PTS, especially with the new items Avenging Blade and Stygian Anchor, he was doing really, really, really good work there. Those items have been tempered a lot too, so hopefully that won't be release day. Yorm just running the games with those. But he's on our list now to be looking at closer. People are giving some feedback on different ways to adjust him as well. I think it's mostly solo lane early pressure clear is like the main pain point. He actually probably is still too weak in the late game. I think he has like his early game's too good and his late game is actually not good enough.
So yes, these are Smite candles. These are official Smite candles from Mythic Ritual, I believe is the name of the company.
I believe so.
Wow, someone finally asked the question I had 11 years ago. They are indeed candles. We now know the answer to the most important question. Their candles, everybody.
So sorry, I don't have the data for them.
So
Lunar Rarity was the one piloting that, if you know Luna.
Yeah, so we have a community merch license. So if you are a member of the community, which you probably are if you're watching this, and you want to make officially branded Smite merch, you just basically have to send us an email and sign a form, and then you can do that. And as long as you don't make, I don't know, some pretty large amount of money, you can do what you want.
I don't have that email to hand right now, I'm sorry, but I will have it for the next episode tomorrow.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want official Smite candles from Celestial Wicks.
That's the one.
Celestial Wicks. I was reading the name of the scent and not Celestial Wicks. Google that. Yeah.
Someone asked, is performance getting any better when a game hits 30 FPS that are dropping crazy? So overall, we make basically performance improvements every single patch. Unfortunately, there isn't often like one just magic bullet that like says, okay, well, everyone now gets 20 more FPS. A lot of it's a lot more subtle things. So just to give you some examples of things that we have looked at recently, damage numbers causing the font cache to rebuild. That was a cause of stutter. Right now, the map signposts that guide you to jungle camps are costing like 0.4 milliseconds if you have them turned on. So turn them off if you want a little bit of time save. We're working on fixing that right now.
Damn, what?
There's been a big pass to minion logic to make minions a lot more performative, especially when they're not visible on your screen. Yeah. There's been UI passes for optimization. There's been minimap stuff for optimization, which is why you saw some minimap stuff. We're also working on making that better overall from PTS. I also got
a lot of the environment art.
I know the rocks are much more performant than they were before, and they look also a lot better, which is really great. I just got a message from Jordan today while we were looking at things, where Zeus's 2, when he uses 2 in a minion wave, is actually not very performant for a reason that we can really easily fix. So it's a lot of those small things that as we trace, we find these things. Some of them affect the game overall. Some of them affect the game a lot more frequently. Some of them are a lot more bursty. And it's up to us to go and find them and fix them and then develop better patterns going forward to make sure that we maintain those performance gains. Jordan has definitely been our main person really focusing on looking at a lot of that stuff. He's made a lot of really good strides. I think if we were to release a version 6 months ago of Smite 2 and you were to try to run it today, you'd be like, oh wow. But it's also harder to notice that from day to day differences. And there's some long-standing things that are still like issues that we know we still want to resolve and make better, like PSO caching. Like the first time you launch the game on a new patch, it takes a little bit to do the PSO caching, and that is a source of stutter. But once you cache, you're good going forward. Getting that smoothed out is
probably why I do the
work on, but yeah, like
practice during the games.
Game today versus what we had months ago, you would be able to notice it more directly. But it's these increments.
Because those first games are always just really not that great. There's a lot of performance issues, lagginess and whatnot, connectivity issues. I'm like, I don't want to have this in a 50-minute game.
Nope.
Let's just do a couple practice games. Let this thing sort itself out, then we can jump into the actual games,
Incremental improvements that add up over a long period of time.
Why do upgraded jungle starters not give the 10% healing? Now upgraded, your starter removes all your sustain, which seems odd.
Say that again?
The upgraded starter items for the junglers, obviously the upgraded version doesn't have the heal on it. Is it just an oversight?
No, it was kind of intentional. It was 2 reasons. One, I was worried that would just end up being too powerful.
With it scaling with the minions in the jungle with 10% health?
Over time, you can just really quickly, easily burst heal yourself up to full. They have different kill triggers. We can add it back there, but I wanted to see how it felt without them.
Okay.
This guy's a jungler.
Just individual effects a little bit stronger as well.
Like, no, my roll got nerfed.
Hopefully that answers it. We'll continue looking.
When is Rod getting removed, reworked? It definitely falls into the bucket of feels mandatory. It would be good to fix. The game is better for having it than just removing it without a replacement. It will take some time to figure out what a pass of that looks like.
TBD.
But because it's not super disruptive, in the same way that like Titan's Bane is not super disruptive now, like instead of like having a whole bunch of pen items and then it stagnates builds that way.
Sure.
It takes one slot, which is not ideal, but it's a better world to live in. It hasn't been as much of a priority as some of the other stuff we're working on. I would like to take a stab at that at some point, as well as pen at some point.
Thoughts on Anchor Slow not being able to be removed by slow immunity?
That just sounds like a bug. I can go look at that after this.
I thought you'd already checked that this morning.
Well, I checked to make sure that it was the right slow type.
Oh, gotcha.
We have 2 different slow types that affect DR differently, and items need a very particular one.
I'm glad you're here for that, because I would have been like, yeah, I believe we fixed that, so, yeah.
how do these changes make Aladdin more accessible to lower skill players? So
good question.
One is the individual abilities have more power behind them now, just generally. Each of them either has higher scaling or higher base damage depending on the type of ability. And we could do that because you're not going to be able to combo nearly as much with like 5 abilities. You now largely have 4 in a fight. That is just going to be better for players.
You do more damage with less abilities. Or one less ability. That still seems like a giant buff to me. Now it takes even less to take someone out.
Because in the cases where they're not fully engaging, they're going to be getting more damage. That's one. You also have one stack of something to consider versus a whole bunch of stacks to consider. That's just a mental burden that's also easier to manage. And then probably the biggest, and also just the small fields improvements we made, the bug fixes, that's just going to help everyone. The big one is probably the ult, though. The ult can kill, which on its own is probably actually the highest change probably for lower players. The amount of times you panic ult and throw at someone and you've healed them up in a way that has lost you and your team the fight is really high, but using it on a low health target to actually just kill someone is going to feel better.
Finally.
Rampage should do something.
Right? Like you hit a long range skill shot, that had a big wind up build up, you killed someone, that's just going to feel better. It's going to feel more intuitive to how other abilities function. But we still get to have like if it doesn't kill, you still get to go into lamp. The healing side of it fixes a few other things that we have. The shielding is a bit more of a consistent experience, and then the fact that if you ult in like let's say you ult in a bad situation where you like are surrounded by a whole bunch of enemy team members, when they come in, they can definitely still disrupt the fight, but you actually do have a better chance now of actually killing the person you went in with, which I think is just it's more on brand with what the ultimate's trying to do anyway.
Oh, it should have been.
The situations where your ult could just be actually a super detrimental thing to use was really, really, really high before, and that's been a lot more evened out, while still allowing you to do really cool things like picking people or separating people out of fights, or basically like people can guard your lamp and you can isolate someone and like they can keep them out and play keep away. Like there's a lot of still really advanced things you can do with the ultimate, but it's much more straightforward. So like those are I think the primary things that help new players.
It's a lot more intuitive now too. Oh, Pon lost weight. He looks a little bit more chunkier to me. He looked like he lost weight several shows ago. Probably because of his whole kid being born thing. Trying to phrase that properly. He had a child. Not him.
Nope.
His wife. Birthed his first child. So... yeah. Well, to me, it started off full, then he severely got skinny, and then now he's getting a little bit more full. To you, though, brother, because you saw him at fuller, now you saw the current state. So it's like, boom. For me, since I've been seeing these more consistently, I saw him when he had a fuller face, then he dropped weight. I was like, whoa, he lost a lot of weight in a short amount of time. Now it looks like he's regaining some of the weight to me. I understand what you're saying, though, brother.
Aladdin.
Yeah, the ult Aladdin thing, that was weird. Because you're like, do I ult this guy who has like 20 HP? Do I want to ult him, heal him? And then, because you were also like kind of low. Like, do I heal him and then fight him, potentially lose? Or why can't I just use my ult to kill him, confirm the kill? It was weird. It was like, that hesitation, it was unnatural. Now you can actually take out an enemy with your ult.
As well. If you already have an elixir running, you buy another
That's gonna feel more
Can you
normal.
buy another
It
one?
just refreshes.
It would just refresh you back to the 6-minute duration. Okay.
Why nerf the animation timing is a ladder rather than some other nerfs to his all-in combo? The nerfs to his animation timing largely just means like we've had this in a few places where if you give characters too quick of things, what ends up happening is the character jumps on you and they just look like their animation jitters and you get hit by 10 damage sources and die. It's not really parsable, and it's also not necessarily fair for the other person. to have that happen. There's a reason why pre-fire times exist. He's still a quicker pre-fire than a lot of other abilities in the game. It's just more like it now matches like I think it's like 200 ms is like the average human reaction time. It matches that better, and especially the long range one, you have a better chance to react to the genie appearing behind you and like using them like we've talked about this. The character that I'm currently working on, I played them in a playtest today. I could react to something happening behind me within that time window now, whereas before I couldn't. But it's still relatively easy to hit. So it's more about making that fair for everyone, because that's like. I am trying to help new players be better at Aladdin, but I'm also trying to fix some of the frustration, like just you get knocked up and get immediately deleted because the Aladdin's a little bit ahead of you type feelings that are happening. The top end players now have to put actually a little bit more effort into other things that they're doing to be able to kill someone now.
Didn't know about this one. This is a good question. Can somebody steal the healing I've stolen from someone else?
I did check that because that would be an infinite recursion of crash. I did test this. You cannot.
So if I've stole healing from somebody else, you can't steal that back from me?
Correct.
Okay, good to know.
Okay, yeah, that actually was an excellent question. I probably would have thought of it later on. Not right now, though.
Nope.
So shout out to you, Chatter, for that question.
Interesting, just play past a parcel of healing.
Yes.
Hot potato, reverse hot potato. Like, no, give me the healing. No, you give me the healing. No, I want the healing. Oh, man, that's funny.
The server.
I did see a question about API come up again. Listen, if we have updates on API, we'll let you know. The people that are asking that question have direct communication with me too, and no, I will tell you. So please stop asking it. And, like, I will tell you as soon as I've got more info.
Someone mentioned Aladdin isn't for new players. I agree. The goal is not to make Aladdin good for new players.
Sure.
I think of Aladdin the way that I've tuned him and how I imagine him. If he launches with a 50% win rate for new players, he is so wildly overtuned, we'll know instantaneously because he'll have like a 70% win rate in ranked. The goal is not to make him a middle of the pack character. He's going to generally be more difficult as an assassin that needs to kind of go in, and his ultimate does require a lot of like game knowledge to execute well. The goal is just to make it so that the extremes that he's currently at match extremes that we kind of already know, like Uller and Giannis.
It's 2:01.
Oh.
I do think it's time for us to do
one more question,
which is technically 3 or 5.
What?
But you know, it's been a long show today. For people asking about the update notes, official notes will be out on Tuesday alongside the release of the game. I will share these around
tomorrow.
The resources that we have so they can look over them as well. But obviously on the VOD, you can go back through and pause at any time to reviews. And this will also go up on YouTube later today. So.
We have not done an Alani check in a very long time because I haven't been drinking Alani recently. But we got a new stock of Winter Wonderland Alani. I'm not sure what the flavor is supposed to be. I think maybe it's like cranberry. That would make sense.
That's what it looks like.
It's not my favorite of the Alani flavors, I'll say.
I bet if you go to like their site, it'll probably tell you what it's
probably.
But yeah, I just have a monster.
What god are you working on, Pod?
Newt. Talked about that, yeah?
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. Spoiler!
Like,
it's
you were here when
plum and cranberry, chat says.
Cranberry, yeah. Yeah, I'm working on Newt.
Yeah, I guess when you I guess it's because when you mentioned about the playtest, like, you were playing Newt today. Yeah. We can say that. Yeah. I ran it down against him. It was interesting.
Yeah, I was able to react to most things, but I do think I made the pre-fire on the 3 a little bit too long. I don't think it quite matches right. But yeah, it was actually a pretty good test for her, and I have the aspect a lot more locked down, and I have her +1s a lot more locked down. We'll talk about that later.
Yep.
Interesting. So then we do have to look at the Monday
that
one.
That was my question.
Sure, that can count as your question, and I will answer another Newt question.
The roadmap one.
Why Newt over? This person says Ishtar, but really, when you're asking that, you're saying why Newt over any other god, right? Because everybody has their pet god.
Why Newt over my god? Yeah, that's what it is.
That they want the most, right? I think for us,
why not?
Newt is an interesting character to add to the roster for a couple reasons. One of them is that she was the last character in Smite 1, so a lot of people didn't get to experience her for very, very long. So I think she'll feel more like a new character to a lot of players. I think also
following the logic,
she is just from like
she's Geb's wife,
like beloved character standpoint. She's pretty well liked despite being new in the roster because of the Lore Lady connection, because of the Geb connection.
Yep.
And I think that like
Lore Lady is nut. Yup, Lore Lady is in the game now. That's right. That's right.
she does also offer a slightly unique hunter play style that we don't exactly have right now. And it just seemed like she fit the spot well in terms of our resources available for both like modeling and programming and design. Like it just was a good fit on a lot of fronts in terms of we thought it was a cool character, new to a lot of people, fits the resource bucket that we have available. And you know, we're releasing new gods every 2 weeks despite our holiday break. So there'll be more characters coming soon.
Well, I think that's it for today's Titan Talk. Thank you all for tuning in. The PTS should be
Damn,
available.
I want to look at this Monday one.
Usual. Jump in custom games, give it a try. Send any bugs you find, smite2.com/bugs to us so we can try and get them all ready for the update on Tuesday. Additionally, you find game issues in your current games, send it to smite2.com/bugs and we'll look to take care of those too. Any final thoughts from you two before I say goodbye?
No, this is just a really fun patch to work on. It ended up being a really big one. Also because the lighting changes, like a lot of things actually landed on like this should have been kind of like a closer to like our like seasonal beat, but like, it actually just kind of ended up being a patch.
I mean, it's winter, you know, seasonal beat, I guess, in a weird way.
We're starting a new event. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yulefest in there, Advent calendars and stuff too. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll catch you all on Tuesday if we don't see you beforehand. I guess Monday you'll be here for Titan Talk.
I will be here. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be something left over after all this patch. But thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you all on the battleground. Goodbye.
Peach it. Yo, thank you, gentlemen. Very informative show. Thank you. We have now educated ourselves even further. So here's the Monday one. This is the end of the year roadmap. I'm interested. There was just an intro here for 4.5 minutes, so I skipped it. Bam. Let's go. Ooh, are these little figurines, man? That's what they look like to me. They don't look like PNGs.
Nope.
They look like figurines. I think they are figurines. Yeah, they're freaking cool. Excellent update show. That previous one. Yo, Kilgoon. He's on the MC chair now. We got Pompon here. Guest 1. Guest 2 is Manny, the mannequin. And of course, us in the top right hand corner. We in studio with them. Let's see what they talk about this one. The end of the year characters, more than likely. Oh, here's they reveal Dodgy, Ardio, Nut. All right. I want to see what they'll do. I'm curious. Let's go ahead and jump into this one. Yo, tomorrow's going to be pretty darn awesome. I think the biggest, one of the biggest changes is going to be for Kernunos. His ultimate, now applying his season, his shifter of seasons passive on the enemies while they're polymorphed. I think he's going to be seeing a lot more playtime for sure. And then his Bramble Blast getting a lot more damage on the late game. That's going to be a lot more impactful too. So we're going to be playing Dodgy tomorrow. Kernunos. And the other nerfed characters. We'll see how they perform as well. It's a lot of testing to do tomorrow. And tomorrow's going to be a double stream day. We'll be up at 1 in the morning to summon for Aizen and Bambietta. And then streaming Smite 2. BBS and Smite 2 tomorrow. 2 in 1. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be a day. We'll see how things turn out. Looking forward to it too. All right, let's get this show started.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Titan Talk. I am joined today by the one, the only Pompon. Thank you for agreeing to come on.
Yeah.
I asked you kind of last minute.
I was working on something. I was like, I really hope I can get this done beforehand. But I made good progress on it. I got it working. I had to I basically had to figure out what Pass Me did and be very upset at Pass Me for not making a really easy to understand blueprint.
I think these Monday ones are just like chill conversation days, and bring in. It's more. It seems to me like it's the most casual one out of the 3 Titan Talk show days. Wednesdays is God reveal, along with skins, any events and stuff. A little bit of balance here, you know, just hinting. And then Fridays, so Wednesdays and Fridays are the 2 biggest ones. Fridays are item and God balance, and anything else that they discuss. Then Mondays are kind of just like more general, laid back First time I'm seeing one of these. Or maybe it's the second time. I don't know. One of the two. Let's continue.
Past me, always the problem.
Yeah.
Turns out. And of course, Manny's here as always. But you guys aren't here to look at my face. You're not here to look at Pompon's face.
They might be.
They might be. More appealing than mine, for certain. But we are here. I forgot to get the tablets for chat today. Oh, no.
That is what we're missing. I felt
That's what we're missing. I was trying to...
Definitely more chill than the other ones. They're super chill here. Already starting off scuffed.
Dude, where are they? I can go get them.
But you're kind of blocked in more. They're sitting on Hindu's desk right there.
I'll go get them.
Okay, yeah. So you guys are here because you want to know what's going on in the world of Smite 2 and what's coming soon to Smite 2. So today we're going to be running through a light end of the year roadmap. We're going to be talking about the 3 updates we have left this year and some of the things that are coming in them. We're going to be talking about the gods, a little bit about some of the +1, some of the aspects.
We are in
been a little bit
mid-month November,
And thank you so much. And we're also going to be we're going to be talking a little bit about some features.
All right. Last 3 updates. Last 3 updates for the year. Oh my goodness.
That, things can change. They always do change a little bit. But give you an idea of some of the things that we've been working on.
Yeah.
So I've got my chat set up now. So if you guys have been yelling at me about something, I will now be able to see that. Perhaps.
What is the passcode?
Oh, it's just all zeros.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Chat, don't steal our iPads. Now that you know. Now that you know the passcode. Okay. And then you have to touch the thing that kind of looks like Firefox in the bottom corner.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. You got it. All right. Sweet.
My iPad's now. Yep.
Yep. Well, if you break into our building here,
Our iPad.
By the way, it's cold in Georgia.
Oh yeah, it is.
It is like freeze warning here, which probably isn't cold for people in like Canada or something, but for us, quite cold today. So we got our sweaters on. We're trying to stay warm. Without any further ado,
it's been getting cold and hot both down here where we at, man. Can you just pick one weather? Can you either just stay hot or just go right into cold already? I mean, we're already mid-month of November, and we're still getting 70s here. What? Make that make sense, please.
Handy dandy desktop.
Yay! There we go. Shout out to Isaiah. Where is he?
And
by the way,
well, you gotta triangle
busy till end of the year.
Triangle the other way.
Yeah.
Praise the what?
Yeah, and that folds in on the triangle. Yeah. I think that should work.
Oh my.
Yeah, there you
go.
Praise
the sun. Praise the road.
I should hide our cameras so people can see this beautiful. Okay.
Praise the roadmap.
It's the end of the year roadmap. I had to do one GIF slide. The rest of the slides will be a little bit more presentable in the modern style because I'm going to post these on Twitter at some point after the show, and I want it to look good. This is my passion, by the way. First, the disclaimer. This is the same slide as last time, but we're going to run through it again just in case people didn't watch this in the past, which is that everything is subject to change.
Facts.
Game development is oftentimes unpredictable work. We don't know if something will be fun. We don't know exactly how long something will take. It's impossible to know for sure until we do it and we try it. So some things that we may be planning maybe don't quite turn out the way we think they're going to, so they end up delayed a little bit. Or sometimes we just end up moving in a different direction entirely because it wasn't fun. That's happened a lot with aspects and a lot of things we've done. Priorities also can and do change. Sometimes the community will become upset about something, or there'll be an emergent issue, a new bug or something that pops up that we need to fix. And that can take time away from doing some of the other stuff on the...
like me and Jordan this week literally went, or last week went on a completely different tangent about something unrelated to anything we were working on. Which has been interesting.
It has been interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that on Wednesday as part of the more formal update show. And I do say here, we're pretty confident about the next few updates contents, which is why we're sharing, but, we can always delay or reprioritize. We are people. People get sick, have family issues, get jury duty. You just had a kid and we're out for, your kid will get sick at some point and then you will get sick and then, we'll have to deal with that. These things can all impact the schedule. So just a heads up, again, things can change. And as I said earlier, the rest of these slides are a little more polished so I can post them on Twitter and not get people mad at me because they don't like my passion in the same way that you guys do. So thanks for tuning in.
Roasting.
So let's get on to our next update. OB23 coming November 18th. This update is headlined by someone you know is coming because you've seen them on PTS already.
Yep.
Daji,
Da
the nine-tailed fox.
Mm-hmm.
Daji, always a very popular god.
The yummy nine.
I think from the moment.
Yummy, yummy. The nine-tailed fox. Yo, I went back to Smite 1, and she does have this outfit. Indeed. I thought it was more orange than anything. I was wrong.
Nope.
She does have this one. Exact same one. Only this one is way better.
She was introduced.
So shout out to the artist.
I think she's got
and the riggers, modelers.
She's just like a lot of what makes a god popular or not is like visual style, instant appeal, and I think the notion of like nine-tailed fox god murderer, just kind of resonates.
Torture,
sadist,
like
right?
That matches are what everyone who plays Smite wants.
Yep.
So, what's happening to Daji in this update? You've seen some of this on PTS. Some of it you maybe didn't notice.
Oh, her model also looks freaking hilarious on Smite 1. The new model looks way better, like leagues better than the model in Smite 1. Like she has super high arch eyebrows. They look weird as fuck. Like the gap on the back end of the eyebrow from the eye, it's like so large. She looks so weird, man. I looked back and said, oh my goodness. New Daji, way better. Nah, that's why I understood the comment when he said, we made her look more ethnically appropriate. I was like, I see, you did. She actually looks way better than in Smite 1. Now seeing the Smite 1 model, I'm like, yo, she looks goofy as hell. Ooh, goddamn.
Though, because we didn't talk about it. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about her plus ones today. Her plus ones include a change to her passive that rewards her for hunting weak targets.
That's her thing.
More detail on all this on Wednesday. More mobility with her AO3.
Yeah, this one's cool. This actually came up in the playtest
the ward teleporting.
It was a really good moment in playtest today.
That's crazy. I want to check that out too, man.
Everybody thought that she was dead.
Oh yeah, I actually like if I had remembered that she could do this.
Yes,
I would have played differently because I was like, oh, she's dead to rights, and she was not.
Teleporting to a ward.
Lastly,
for sure,
the new ult. You guys have seen the new ult. That's the part we've shown off before. She also will be shipping with an aspect.
That's right, the attack speed one.
This aspect will
auto attack one.
Pivot her into more of an attack focused play style. So is the idea just high level?
They make it auto attack or attack speed. You say attack focused, it's so broad. A little more specialization would help out. At least for me, man. Because you say attack, like anything can be attack, right? Like actually auto attack, basic attack, attack speed. That's
with
more
this,
her
we're thinking
place.
probably still more of a jungler attack focused, but more focused on like basic attacking than using abilities.
I would expect her to still be mostly in the jungle role, focused on being that more kind of in-hand assassin style.
Sure.
I think there's a world where you could play her more like a bruiser and go into the solo lane and really try and box heavily. But I would expect her to still be pretty successful with this aspect.
Actually, I see that now. I didn't really think about it before.
Bakasura solo lane was like a thing for a while where like you could just pressure people by holding left click on them. It's similar to that.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to show off more of that tomorrow. But I think that's enough teasers about Daji for right now. But also coming in this update, something that just kind of has happened organically.
Yes.
This is going to be a major balance update.
Yeah. So I got back from my paternal leave and I had thoughts. And so I started just writing things on the balance
Voices
doc.
in his head.
And because I wasn't immediately working on a character because we just wrapped up Sylvanas and I'd worked ahead on a few other things, I just kind of kept adding to this doc a lot. And it somehow turned into like a really big balance patch.
So I have some teasers from things here. I'm not going to, people are there strength item nerfs? I'm not going to talk about that kind of level of stuff. But just some of the high level goals of a few of the things that
Aladdin
you mentioned in your Slack message to me that are going to happen today. So we're going to rework a few overly complicated items.
Yes.
Sanguine Sash.
I think I'll just say Sanguine Lash is one that I would say is an overly complicated item.
Yes. If it's got 10 bullet points, maybe that's a few too many bullet points.
Yeah. Make them more focused on what they're doing so you can explain in a sentence why you're picking this item.
Yeah. But
The elevator
make it, easier to understand what's being done to you and what a thing will do if you buy it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Ooh.
We're going to expand the number of anti-heal items in the fashion of counters similar to Brawlers and Contagion as they work now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something we've talked about wanting to do when we did the anti-heal pass, and we're finally getting around to it, which is giving more opportunities for you to build these counters that are similar to Brawlers and Contagion, where they don't immediately just shut down 50% of the healing, but they do give you strengths and purpose against healer characters specifically. And it's also worth noting that these new ones all coming in are actually focused around not just like God heal abilities. It includes item healing and life steals.
Oh, that's awesome. So because I'd heard that was for people that enjoy the supporter store, and there's still more stuff. So
they're about to get into RDO.
We
already saw this stuff.
Yeah, this patch ended up being like really big.
It's massive. They're always
we didn't plan it.
No, we didn't.
But cool.
Awesome. So OB23 can be pretty big coming your way November 18th. So skip your Thanksgiving dinner to play some Smite, or maybe just after Thanksgiving dinner, sometime with your family. I don't know. Anyway, moving right along. OB24.
Boom.
Coming
Here we go.
December 2nd.
Here's some new info.
Headlined by RTO.
The Bear Woman. The Bear Woman. She's here. She's coming. And new. Well, who spoiled it for us? Was it Hinduman and Kilgoon? Or was it Kilgoon both times? That shit was funny, man. RDO is coming back, though. Oh my gosh. She's so annoying to play against. She's a stand switcher for support. We have a stand switcher for ADC. Mage, stand switcher, Hell. Well, not in the game, but she's another one. Support REO, stand switcher. Anyone else I'm missing? Is there a solo stand switcher? No, I don't think so. Jungle? I mean, Uller can go in there too. Okay, three. They cover all the major roles, or like all of them, because they can flex. She can do solo and support. Uller can do ADC jungle. Hell can do mid, solo, and or support. Yeah, maybe not solo. It's support for sure. Yeah, it hits all of them. Her card art's amazing. I love it.
RTO, the Bear Goddess, will be coming in OB24.
No one saw this coming.
No, we definitely have not accidentally spoiled this about 30 times. But it's good to finally confirm these things.
Yes.
RTO. Really, I really like RTO. I've enjoyed playing RTO since she was introduced. I like the
learning to play her. You understood. Well, as for me, when I actually learned to play as her, I was like, that's why she never dies.
Nope.
That's why that's why people get her and play her so much. She's a lot of fun. And she can live for forever. Like, god damn. Like freaking Achilles too. Like once you learn them, you're like, oh, I can almost never die.
Nope.
Wow. It's crazy. When you actually learn how to play a character, you see why they're so beloved.
Stance switchers in general. I like playing tanky characters.
Yep.
Kind of scratches that itch for me. It's good to have a lot of buttons. And we'll really quickly talk about some things that we're looking at in terms of plus ones. And Caps is working on this god.
Yes.
Right. So
can her bear basic attacks get improved?
Supposed to be Caps' first god.
Yes.
But then we pivoted the schedule, and Caps, kind of has still been working on this. So these are the things he told me. He's not here today, but hopefully I got all this close enough to accurate.
Yep.
So for plus ones,
let's see what she's gonna get.
Druid's attacks are now ranged.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually pretty big. Because it used to be her scepter melee. She was double melee. And it did feel kind of awkward. the only like ranged portion she had to her was in her druid stance. She would siphon off like heal. That was the only really ranged thing. Other than that, I mean the bear charge, but that's not really a ranged attack, man. You can't count it as that.
Nope.
So now her druid basics are freaking ranged. That's gonna feel, I think, a bit more intuitive, more natural to her. Because her bear stance, of course, that one's gonna be melee. That would make sense to be melee. To have her both in melee stance, that felt weird. Now it might feel more natural.
We just think that that's going to feel better, and she's a staff wielder, and she kind of throws her staff magic forward. Druid attacks are now ranged. It also just highlights the difference between Druid and Bear form.
Yes. So a bigger difference between Bear and Druid. I think it's going to be pretty neat.
A lot more differentiation
we have.
Between the two stances.
Oh, no. Oh, wait. Do we have to, people saying, oh, no? No, okay, we're good. Chat is, making me worry that something is broken. Next. The healing range on Druid form heal has been increased.
Yeah, it was really hard to actually heal your teammates.
Very hard. Yeah. It turned like you had to be just like standing right next to your teammates to get any benefit out of that.
Yeah, we found things like Baron 2, for example, is like an example one that like having that forgiveness on that range helps just a lot to feel the impact of the character.
Yep. So a smaller one, but one that's going to be impactful. And she is a hybrid scaler.
Yes.
So we'll go through her in more detail when it's her turn, but that's a preview of some of her +1s.
Interesting. No aspect of the devil, though.
There's a single pixel that's the wrong color. Oh, no, chat. What did I do wrong? Anyway. And for her aspect,
she does come with one.
The only thing I'm going to say about her aspect right now is bears.
That's a good teaser. I think that's fair.
Yes.
She can summon more bears?
We'll share more about this as it gets a little closer. This is
bears is plural.
I don't want to say it's like an early stage of development. We've been playtesting it for a little while, but I think it's a little bit in flux still. Where
double
I don't
bear
say
stance.
Bears.
Yeah, there's polish that needs to happen still, and there's probably like tweaking to things that still need to happen. So if you say anything now, it might be a little different by the time it ships. But I think bears is fair.
Bears.
Serious. Bears is multiple. She's a stance switcher.
Also,
double bears.
We will have
makes sense to me.
The next phase of conquest updates. And this phase of conquest updates will obviously include continued aesthetic improvements, but we are also, for this update, targeting some gameplay changes to Conquest, including some changes to the geometry of the Conquest map. So, again, not an all-new Conquest map. We aren't starting from scratch, but making some targeted changes to the current Conquest map that we think will improve the flow. That we've been playtesting internally here.
Yeah, I think there's before like we talk about like doing a whole new map. There's a lot of like make sure the gameplay feels super solid. Making sure we kind of understand what Smite 2 players really want. Getting some of the patterns of like.
All right, actual, you guys, you're about to watch 180 seconds of
already.
ads.
Oh my gosh!
Don't forget you can use your Prime sub to skip through them.
Yes, thank you, Brian.
And lighting and how what the tools that we're going to be going forward with and what tools we're not going forward. Like you want to lock those down before you commit to a whole new map and do a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yeah, and I think also a lot of the
smart, it's quite wise. Indeed.
A lot of the worst offenders of the current map are addressable. Yeah, without needing to burn the whole thing down. Yeah, right. It's a very common feeling when people are like, "I'm not happy with this current thing. Let's start over." Right.
Even Smite 1 like new maps were generally always built on top of like what was already there, and you'd be surprised at actually how similar they were, and just lighting and small tweaks to the environment assets made it feel very different than it was.
So this is something should be exciting to look forward to here. I know haven't said much about it, but should be good. Also in this update, Yule Fest will continue.
Okay.
There will be 2 new travelers, including an all-new Danza Burrow skin.
Danza, the homie, getting some love.
We'll be getting an all-new.
Have I seen this?
Yeah, it's not been in playtest yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but
brand new one.
It will be all new.
Am I gonna like it?
I don't know. You have interesting taste.
Okay.
I like it.
I'll have to go look at it.
I was not sold on this when they first told me about it, but then they showed me like the concept, and I was like, okay, this is good. We should do it.
Okay, cool.
So,
I hope it's a cool one.
The reward skin for the Yule Fest will come out in this update, and it's going to be Snow Day Scylla with prisms. So if you want, if you're a Scylla enjoyer and you want Snow Day Scylla, she'll be the reward for Yule Fest, and you'll be able to get her in this update. And then lastly, we have and more. We're far enough out from here that giving too much more than this detail right now is a little bit hard to do, right?
Yeah.
But I think hopefully this should be an exciting amount to look forward to.
Hell yeah.
We have,
I'm cool with it.
RTO with her.
On a
aspect
need to
coming.
know
We have,
basis.
Continued conquest.
We don't need to know everything.
All right, you guys, you're about to watch 180 seconds of ads. Don't forget you can use your Prime sub to skip through them.
I'm good with just, I accept on the need to know basis. I work like that. I operate like that myself. Need to know basis, you will only know what you need to know when you need to know, all right? I'm cool with
improvements, including some geometry changes, and then more stuff. So pretty exciting. And then lastly,
OB25
for today's show, at least, coming on December 16th, just shortly before the holidays, we'll have OB25, our 25th major update of this year.
Wow.
Which is a lot. It's a lot of updates.
We know who the god is. It's not. All right.
It's been kind of crazy.
Gasp. I didn't know.
The god.
It'd be fun. I know doing this would actually be a huge pain. It'd be fun to ship the January patch and let people play that for like a day and then go back to where we are just so they can actually see
that would be funny,
all the differences, because it's actually insane.
It is crazy.
Every so often I go back and look at playtest footage and it's just actually crazy how much has changed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Coming in this update,
they're teasing
the last
some
god
stuff.
of the year will be Newt.
Nut.
Yeah.
The
Goddess of the
lore lady.
sky.
Again, also a surprise.
Yeah, we definitely also didn't leak this, but it's fine. We aren't really doing a lot to prevent things from leaking.
Yeah.
We just are also working on a lot of stuff in the background. So, so I'm pretty excited about Newt. Newt obviously was the final god released in Smite 1. So a lot of people that weren't playing Smite at that time probably never saw her.
Yeah.
Right. She was very popular following her release, continues to be pretty popular. An interesting take on the carry role.
All right, you guys,
She
you're
definitely
about
also
to
kinda
watch 180 seconds of ads. Don't forget you can use your Prime sub to skip through them.
Yep. Devils actually works with her. At least for me. It felt impactful. It felt meaningful to have it.
Alluded to a lot of the stuff that we'd end up doing with that kind of more hybrid-y feel of play style, and just kind of what she's and her kit enables her to do, and how her scaling works and just her abilities. I think she's going to be really interesting in Smite 2 systems.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of teasers for her here because she's further out.
Yeah, she's further
And
out.
you're working on her.
Yes.
So I said it's still early for the plus ones and the aspects, but the aspect could push her towards support potentially. Something that we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's currently, because I'm working on her, I'm still trying to lock down some of the details on all this stuff. And
Interesting. I always welcome another support character here. Hell yeah. Let's freaking go.
I'm currently leaning that way. So if you guys want to have a say and say oh, that's absolutely the wrong decision, you can.
Yeah.
Nah.
And
support, baby.
Guildfest will continue in this update as well with 3 travelers, including Wreck the Hall's Fenrir. I love that scene. It's one of my favorites.
That one's good.
Yeah,
the Christmas sweater.
Antler.
So good.
Yeah, and the Christmas, the ugly sweater.
And there will be more. And again, this was the most vague because it's the furthest out. There will be other stuff in this update. I just am not committed enough to be able to say confidently what it is.
Yeah, we know that there's a few things on the design side we want to have done by OB25 because just how the rest of the year pans out, we just want to make sure that there's stuff there.
Yeah.
But the details of that are I think we know what we're doing, but we just actually have to lock down the
we don't know when it's going to come out. A lot of stuff we just are this is the next thing we want to work on.
Yeah.
When do we think this is going to come out?
Yeah.
And so there's stuff that is targeted to come out in this release, but I'm not confident enough that it will land in this release to say that this is going to be.
It's all very fair.
So so that's kind of the roadmap for today. I do have one final slide that just is the looking further out. This is kind of the same as last time, but just to let people know, after this roadmap, we will be taking 2 extra weeks off for Christmas and New Year's before resuming our 2-week cadence. We are people with families. Best thing for long-term success to make sure we get breaks and we don't get burnt out.
Yep.
So OB26 will be January 13th. Okay. OB27 will then be January 27th. And then, yada, yada, yada. Kind of goes from there. We'll talk about these updates in a future roadmap. I assume that I don't know if we'll end up doing it before the holidays or once we're back from the holidays. It kind of depends on what we PTS in December.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it as soon as we feel confident talking about it. There'll be more fun stuff to look forward to, as always. And with that, I will bring it back to us. And we can take questions. We can give any thoughts. Now seeing it all written out like that.
I mean, it is actually just really funny how OB23 and like we talk about, like, we don't know what we're doing in advance. Like the soft rework that we were talking about. Like I think I decided to do that like Wednesday.
Aladdin's rework.
Like, 3 days before branch, I was like, yeah, let's just do this.
Yeah,
because I've been wanting to do.
You've been wanting to do it, and it just was a good time to do it because of some other stuff going on.
Yeah. So that's always just really interesting how.
Check my messages. Check my messages. My messages. What are my messages?
Hindu has his own surprises.
Oh, he's okay. I have to open up Slack on this because he sent me a Slack thing. I'll pull it up. You can keep talking for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, so we can. I've been wanting to do that software work for a while now. So
Aladdin
get a chance to. And I also got to fix a bug that's been bothering me for a really long time. So at the same time, it's always really nice to do.
And another fun thing to chat about. I'm gonna switch to this because Hindu Man just pinged me about it, even though he should not be working today. We will be doing another community art contest.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think we felt like the Halloween one went so well that people maybe would want to do one for the holidays as well.
Sure.
So the Yule Fest Artful Tidings will be coming as part of Yule Fest. We are partnering with Smite Prime to run it this time.
Oh, cool.
So they'll be helping out.
They're different.
They've got like a website that will make submitting things easier. And I don't know what all Jithans and Hindu Man have cooked up, but I
thought it was all together.
That it's set up. I'm like, cool. So if you want to participate, you can submit your artwork. It doesn't have to be seasonal, I don't think, but it does have to be Smite themed. Between
best if it's seasonal.
November 14th and December 12th, it will be voted on not by us, but by the community. From December 13th to 17th.
AKA you.
And then there will be prizes. You can get 5,000 diamonds for first prize, 2,000 diamonds for second prize, and 1,000 diamonds for third to fifth place. So if you
third to
if you enjoy
fifth place, we're gonna be 5 winners this
Smite,
time.
this could be for you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's dope.
Yeah. Thanks for sending that.
Instead of 3, there's
when are we reopening PTS? So PTS will be on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we'll go through the more proper update notes, show off Dodgy and some of the balance stuff and the conquest changes and all that. And then we'll open up PTS later that night. And then it should stay open probably through the weekend for like custom games and whatnot.
I saw a question about can I confirm if someone's I
just remembered something else. Twitch drops are live right now.
Oh yeah.
For the Sylvanas skin. The whatever it's called. The fall tree Sylvanas.
The one that I'm only going to use.
The cool one. Yes.
From like going forward.
So if you want the cool Sylvanas skin that Pawn has committed to only using for the rest of his life playing Smite 2.
Cool tree.
It's literally that or the cactus actually.
Harvest Keeper.
The
Thanks,
cactus.
man.
Bring the cactus back.
You can get that right now by watching streams this week. If you make sure your account's linked, go up to there's like a drop down, maybe in that corner of the screen. Maybe it's in that corner. I don't know. That should show you the drops that are available, and you should
10 hours of watch
time
time
just by watching this week.
Yeah.
So please watch.
Someone asked if I can confirm if Newt's a hybrid scaler. I am still working through the details on it, but I'd be surprised if I don't go that direction. Like similar to like kind of Bari, where like the more like inside of things can be more focused on her abilities and making them good versus like the more strength side can make the basic attack side a bit better. I think there's some value in keeping it so that like even if she does go pure int, she should still feel like she can basic attack and those are part of her kit because that's kind of part of her identity. But like she's early enough that like those aren't super settled.
Yeah, some people like she always felt a little bit like a mage. Yeah, I mean she kind of could be played both ways.
Yeah.
She didn't have that long of a run in Smite 1, but I think that like I saw both builds working in the time that she was. So
you can get Poly too. That'll work.
Will RTO be in PTS? It depends on the day of,
Yes.
as always with these things. So things that are further out, we kind of make a judgment call on the day of PTS, and we say, hey, is today's build in a good enough place with this character that it would be useful for people to play her in this state? So like last time for Daji was, but her aspect was not. So we turned off the aspect and just let people play normal Daji. Could be something similar this week where RTO is in a good enough state to get feedback on. So normal RTO is, but the aspect isn't. We'll just have to kind of see on Wednesday morning how the build went.
Word. I'm with it.
Let's see.
How long will the Christmas break be again? So it will be from
2 weeks.
From December 16th is the day that Newt will come out. And then the next update after that will be January 13th. Yeah. So it's 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. We're functionally just missing one patch.
Yeah,
if you just kind of treat the schedule like that, where there would have been a patch 2 weeks after Newt, that's just, there won't be one there, and it'll return to its normal.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the calendar right now, and if we were to follow the cadence, that patch would have come out on December 30th, which is between Christmas and New Year's, which is kind of functionally impossible. Like, we literally can't patch that week on the consoles. Yeah. So, like, I mean, even like best case scenario, like for players that are like, we need a patch every 2 weeks, the 6th, it was kind of like a maybe. Yeah. But it's not actually a day that we could patch on the 30th.
Word, I'm chilling.
No hotfixes in that time frame. My guess is probably there'll be not, maybe in super big emergencies if they're server only, but like I know most of us will want to be trying to spend some time with our family, and we'll have, luckily, if Newt releases on the 16th, we'll actually have kind of that like first initial week to like find any major issues that happened in that patch and resolve them and make sure we're in a good state. So hopefully no one does. I mean, if the game literally goes down, then maybe. But
yeah, and we had talked about, maybe we might have some content that like turns on during the course of the patch, to try and make it seem like not quite as long, because that's like people that didn't follow our patching cadence quite as much as they do nowadays. Like it used to be over the holidays, we would very frequently go like 6 or sometimes even 8 weeks without an update. Yeah. If you look at past years of Smite 1, we're obviously in a different state right now, being still in beta for Smite 2 and having this very rapid patch cycle. But yeah, like in those days, we would release things every couple of weeks during those long updates to give you a little bit of a feel. So we're seeing what we can do. Yeah, maybe bonus worshippers. There's a lot of things that we could potentially do.
I feel like there's one common question happening that I also saw on the Reddits this weekend about Agility Relic. It's probably worth just discussing.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So next patch will have a nerf to it. So we are doubling the cooldown to 20 seconds. The big thing about Agility Relic is it gives people a kind of lower cooldown thing to do.
Can it be for just rank though? I think I would have been fine if it's 20 seconds in ranked. Every other mode, it's just the fun relic, man. Like, keep it at 10.
That we found actually works really, really well with people coming into the game, just feeling like they have something they can do more frequently, get a feeling of more movement. It gives them flexibility on characters so they can approach characters differently. And we actually see that overall its win rate, even though like compared to all the other things, isn't too crazy. But we also understand that like there is feels things about it happening so frequently. We're gonna double the cooldown and just see where that puts us. We think that's gonna move it into a closer spot, but there's a reason why we haven't removed it, right? Like we know that there's people who experience like Agility Relic and if they dodge something, it's like, man, that was really frustrating. But we have seen it be one of the bigger things, at least we believe, because it's hard to detangle a lot of like what's happening when new players come into the game. We believe it is a significant contributing factor to a lot of their enjoyment, which is why we
fun relic
moving forward with it. But we also want to find a good place for it to be. So
completely.
Other things that we might try and do is the range at which it happens. I think there's also a world where like I wanted to try and do this on some other things, but give feedback on if they have it up or not, because it is on such a low cooldown thing. Unlike beads where you can see them use it and you can kind of time it. In the middle of a fight, it's really hard to keep track of that like 10-second timer. 20 seconds will be a little bit like it's gonna happen less frequently a fight. But like feedback, they even have it. So when you go to Kraken them, you know if they have that tool available or not. I think it's a big thing that could adjust how it feels.
Yeah, that's good note.
So we're not blind to the feels that people are saying about it, but we also are in that kind of spot where like we think it is pretty significantly moving people to play Smite 2 and having fun with Smite 2, and so we don't want to like completely just rip that out as well.
Okay. I think that's it, man. What else are they going to talk about for 20 minutes?
Why don't slows count as assists in Smite 2 for characters like X-Ball ult?
It's probably just a miss on our part, because generally it's just most things that apply effects in Smite also apply damage. So damage is kind of the catch-all for it, but it's not always true, right? So it's probably just we need to make sure that certain effects. I know that was something we did in Smite 1 where like you could Xbalanque ult just to get an assist across the map, and that was like a standard thing.
Kind of cheap, but
it is a little cheap. But hey, if you don't think you're gonna use it right now,
cheeky assist, man.
yeah, Clumsy saying we removed that from Xbalanque and Nuwa. Yeah, I don't know exactly how I feel about it because it is a little cheesy, but it's one of those things. But like I know generally for like if you are like in range of a character enough to have contributed meaningfully and you hit them with like a slow, like that feels like that should have mattered because you did really assist in their kill. Global ults are a little different in that regard where they feel a little bit cheesy, especially if you don't actually deal any damage with them. But like we can just take a look and talk about it.
If Nuke gets a support aspect, what about an ADC aspect for Geb so she can support him?
Okay, I have an idea for one. I don't know if we're actually going to do it. But I do have an idea.
It was a fun idea.
We did discuss internally, like, it would be funny if, because the Nuke Geb lane is like the standard, right?
Yeah.
Because like that's just the thing to do. Geb's the support, she's the carry, you play that lane. It'd be fun if you could also play that lane flipped. Let Geb throw rocks, right? Like that's I don't know if we're actually going to do that, but like,
and it would replace his current aspect, right? Because we only have one aspect per character in the way the game's set up right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that would have to change it. Like we can technically do two, but it's like a whole bunch of front end stuff has to change. How we convey it to players has to change. Making sure that it actually functions to make sure that we've done all the logic built correctly.
That'd be funny.
There's a lot of things that
that'd be
so
fun
it's not
too.
Going to be two. So you'd have to be okay with losing Geb's current one, and we'd also actually have to have the bandwidth to do the thing, and we'd also have to like do the thing in a way that actually looks decent and not. My idea for it, I don't know if it's actually would work. So we've talked about it. We're far enough out that we don't know yet.
Interesting question.
I see people asking about Ratatoskr.
The rat.
We are not to the next, jungler in the rotation.
Yeah.
So he was not going to be part of this roadmap. When we get to the next jungler, we'll talk about who that is. I think that we definitely hear there's a large part of the community that really wants Ratatoskr. Doesn't mean that Ratatoskr is going to be the next jungler. I don't even remember who the next jungler is right now.
I don't remember off the top of my head. It's hard for me to like remember things past like what I'm actively currently focused on.
Yeah, Ratatoskr's one though. I think the community like.
I know what the next one is.
Yeah, I think the community is like more.
Make it Niza.
Because there was a data mining thing that said that they were super confident that Ratatoskr was going to be the next jungler in the game. There's a group of people that are like they thought that he was coming and then he didn't, and now they're like disappointed by it. That's kind of one of those reasons why we're like. Things can change, like data mining, and until we say it, try not to take it too seriously. We definitely, hear the feedback. We, by all of our metrics, he is one of the more beloved junglers. But we'll get to him as soon as we can get to him.
The Ragnarok skin sounds quite endearing.
Some questions I definitely can't answer.
Yeah, some questions we can't talk about yet. Will it be possible to see a Dr. Vonis or Bob Ross skin for Sylvanas? Bob Ross is a crossover skin. So that one would not be able to come over without us reaching an agreement with with them
agreement,
and then bringing it over. And it would not be able to come over as a classic skin if we did that. It would need to be something that could make them money, which is why they, every crossover person. They're in it for the money, I mean, like
business
they want to get
people.
paid for it. So
it's business.
That would, be a blocker for that. Dr. Vonis is not completely off the table. It is a higher tier skin that I believe is a different rig than base Sylvanas and would be a harder skin too, but it doesn't mean that's not going to happen. I don't know if we've locked in what the first Sylvanas skin is yet.
I just want to be the cactus one because I'm from Arizona, and so I just like cactuses.
Yeah, okay, that's good. My wife likes cactuses. She's from California desert. So yeah.
I'm a cactus. I want to be able to say that. I'm a cactus.
Path, like a new path instead of the repeating 200 coins at the end. Yeah, that's going to be part of, I didn't put it on here. That'll be part of OB23 as well. So as part of
Reset
the Yule Fest, the changing event season, there will be an updated wandering path with rewards. The idea is that basically every time we start new events, so it depends on how long the events run, but let's say every 12 weeks or so, every 8 to 12 weeks, kind of depends. We'll update the Wandering Path. At some point, yeah, you will just get coins. But the percentage of players that actually play enough to get to the repeating coins, relatively small. You guys are the super engaged hardcore who are probably mostly at the repeating coins. But even a lot of our engaged players don't get to that end stage in that time span.
I saw one question about thoughts on removing Agility Relic and making it so everyone has a 30-second Agility Relic by default. I think that would make more people upset. I think the power of like having a low cooldown dash is something that does need to come at the cost of your other relic choices.
Yes.
Plus, there's also just there's only so many things we can add, buttons we can add, and making it so that was part of like the default. Like, there's a reason Agility Relic is a relic is because like if it's separate from everything else, it actually causes some problems. So we'd be really unlikely, I think, to do that. And I saw another question, which was, as a designer, what would you say is the main difference between strength and int builds? So I think we have executed some strength and int build varieties pretty well and some less so. To me, a good strength and int build variety actually does come with a playstyle difference. If it's just like the baseline is I do ability damage or I do basic attack damage, and that's fine, but it's not super interesting. I think even things like Chalk, where like Chalk actually gets some tankiness and extra healing versus like you actually are encouraged to be more aggressive with Strength Chalk, that's closer to being something that I think works out really well. Yeah. So I generally like to try and tie it to an actual gameplay difference. Aladdin, we tried this on where we're like
the genies were one way.
Yeah, genies were one way. The base kit was a little bit more. I think that one was too subtle. Both in just like they ended up balancing and we ended up kind of making it feel subtle. But like even if we were to like amp that up even more, I don't think that would count really. So to me, it's often you want to try and tie it to some gameplay difference. And it's often really hard to do that within like a base kit. So like that's why like just throwing hybrid on everyone, I feel like ends up like mudding it a lot, and it's better when it does have a much more distinctive.
That's why we, reason.
Yeah, that's
more
what we did
clarity.
also, like, on Neath. We did some adjustments recently to our balance to make it more distinct about like, okay, strength is actually contributing even more stuff to encourage her basic attack side with her passive. And we kind of amplified those differences some, because at least there, like that was a much more like weave detonating focused play style for like the stim. That's starting to get closer to where like, even though it's still ability and strength, that's starting to be better, right? So like, I think over time we want to be able to like go back to some of those characters and reevaluate exactly what we're doing with them. And then going forward, when we do hybrid, there should be some like more noticeable difference between them.
Yeah. There's a question of, in the upcoming patches, we're getting 3 travelers each. Well, some of these function like Miss Senshi and Voidworm. I will say not every update's going to have three travelers going forward. There's just a couple that kind of coincidentally are going to have 3 travelers. We are also going to be doing more of those, repackaging the existing prisms that were not in travelers into travelers. Just for context, like one of the ones that we repackaged recently did more sales as a traveler in its first week than the prisms had done in their entire lifetime.
Wow.
So people just really like the travelers a lot better. It's a lot easier to understand. It feels like a better deal because you're getting a lot for your money. So we're just going to repackage them all eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, we will do more of those. But in these cases, it's just 3 kind of normal travelers with some, twists and whatnot. So.
Any fixes on abilities not going off of the animation audio playing and then just stopping. So there's 2 versions of that. One is just server client disagreement about whether or not you're able to fire it. To a certain degree, we can try and find fixes for those, but there's some level that is just going to be kind of innately to an online game. The fix for that would be to make them all server authority, which means that you would be delayed by your latency, which even on a reasonable ping is very noticeable. So that we kind of favor the responsiveness of you seeing immediate feedback to your actions with the downside of sometimes it getting interrupted. There's a second case where I have seen people just go to fire an ability and it looks like they should have been able to cast it and they can't. I saw like a Hecate ult clip. That one is one of those ones where like being specific, like saying like, hey, ability is not going off is probably less helpful than I was playing this character and this ability specifically failed. Even if it's happening on quite a few characters, it's good to know which ones are having those issues when you make those reports so we can investigate them, because that type of bug could be any number of things. So yeah.
Damn, I think that's it, man. We caught up. We saw the Monday one. What's up and coming? RDO and Nut. Dodgy tomorrow. bunch of other changes. Yeah. Shout out to you guys. That's it. I think it's gonna be it for me. Tomorrow, definitely gonna be going longer than today. It's gonna be a double feature tomorrow, so trying to keep things nice and concise today. Shout out to you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a wonderful Monday. Make sure to start off on the right foot. Thank you, Live Gang, Replay Gang, and of course, Alert Squad. New follows, new chatters. Thank you all. Appreciate you all. Until we meet again at 1 a.m. We'll see how that goes. Will the fates favor us? Will we get Bambietta? Will we get Aizen? Or will we just get... Oh, wrong button. Will we just get Dookied on? Like we did that last summon. God, that was atrocious. Hopefully, this next summons goes quite well for us. We'll be doing it at reset too. We'll be having that 1 a.m. luck, 2 a.m. luck. And not that horrible, atrocious, like mid-morning luck. Like 8 a.m. luck is not even there.
Nope.
Goodness gracious. So, we'll be back at reset for BBS. And then, of course, for the, I guess, reset for Smite 2. Dodgy's coming out tomorrow, so we're looking forward to that as well. Double feature tomorrow. Excuse me. Detach yourselves. Hit the gym, exercise, drink plenty of water, eat healthy, nutritious meals, stay out of trouble. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Getting a lot of burps and hiccups. Goodness gracious. Get plenty of rest and sleep. Honor your rest days. Don't forget your cardio. We'll be back at reset. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Peace.